is Sandstorm. This is Sandstorm. This is Sandstorm.
Yeah, connect yourself with the word, so you're always online. Sonic can run fast, but my lord is always on time. I was doing the word, but only to check off the list. My lord didn't do me like that, so why would I do him like this? It's time to push his agenda, even if the odds are stacked. Because he makes a way out of no way, and he's got my back. You feel the pressure, huh? That ain't even enough. We fall down, but now it's time to level up. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are here for another Stormcast. We got the suspects here. Jack, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Happy about everything that's happened this week. Definitely been a blessed week for sure, man. So cannot
Yeah,
complain.
that's what's up. Vito in the building. Vito, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Just watching my dogs try to get this win in.
Okay. Shout outs and what up to the moderators, Brand Smith, Dark Boy, Exodia in the building. Thank you, Joycey, for coming through. RJ, appreciate you showing up. We got a quite a fantastic little podcast coming on today. Real quickly, I know this is actually a conversation to be had behind scenes, but I really don't care. It don't bother me none. Um, but Jack, I just had this marvelous idea.
Mhm.
But it's not going to happen until next year. I'm just giving you the heads up on that.
Okay.
But think I want you to get on this track. Me and Vito are going to work on.
See, I've heard this beat, and I was gonna ask you. Something told me to ask, are you doing anything with this?
Yeah, yep.
Maybe
This
how
is
stuff works.
this is going to be in the works for our introductory piece. I'm gonna move level up out of the way for this joint for
Okay.
our intro. So yeah, this
So
yeah.
this is like it's a just a song, or is this going on like an album? Like
It's just a song. It's just
Okay,
a song
okay.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Vito wants to do something with it, he's more than welcome to. But as it tentatively stands, it's just a song.
Okay. Hey, look, y'all always know I'm down, man. Y'all don't even gotta ask me. You just send me something. Hey, do this.
And listen, I am only a basic level rapper, so I'm just letting y'all know I ain't getting back into the game. All right, I'm freelance. Okay.
You say that now, but I mean, look, I tell anybody. I mean, we all do what we do. I mean, as long as you're having fun and you're doing what you do, man. I mean, like not you for it.
Yeah.
I already got a verse for this already, but it's not for the show though. It's definitely one more.
I feel that. I feel that.
It's definitely Vito for real.
Oh yeah,
It's,
yeah, man.
it's funny because it's a Vito swag type of song anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
all for it, man. I'm all for it. So I mean, send me whatever. I mean, if y'all got like a subject matter y'all want to focus on, let me know. If not, then I'll do my thing.
Yeah, I got you. I got
My
you.
dog being a creep. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, because I'm in the process now. Like I'm dreading it because I feel like I just did it, but I have to move all my music again. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever done that before, like having to move distros, but it's not a fun process. Like especially if you have a lot of music, it's not fun going in there, refining your album art, putting in all the ISRC numbers and what dates you want to re-release on. It's a pain. Like it's an extreme pain, and I gotta do it again solely because once again, after dropping this album, for whatever reason, they don't put it on Apple Music, and then they
Oh.
put the name on Apple Music, and little to their knowledge, I'm like, well, you can't blame Apple Music because guess what? All of this was on Apple Music before I got to you, so you're
Right. Right.
don't
Right.
blame Apple Music. You're the problem. So, and that was where I say about a good 60-70% of my listeners were on Apple Music.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So,
that's
like,
what most people go.
I was looking for it on Apple too. I was like, oh, it's out. And then I saw it was on Spotify and the YouTube joint. So I looked on Apple. I was like,
yeah, TJ was the one that like brought that to my attention, and then my son told me right after. He was like, "Dad, did you take all your music down?" I was like, "No." I went to Apple Music and there's only like 2 albums there. I'm like,
yeah.
"What's going on? Like, what are we doing?"
Mm.
So yeah, I left them today. I'm like, look, I don't have time to play with y'all. And
Yeah,
the good
that's
thing
wild.
with that distributor, they don't pull your music down after you leave. But
Yeah.
ultimately, now I have to go on this whole re-upload session, and then you got to do that annual fee up front. It's a pain, man. So I got to sit down, get all my stuff together, resubmit, and get all that stuff up there. But yeah, it'll be worth it in the end.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
it's like the initial piece of it, right? That's just the problem. It's not like a long-standing problem. It's like equivalent of moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you because the first part sucks, but when you get settled in, it's fine. So
Yeah.
like even for me, like right now, solely because I made that move over to MSM, I'm not even thinking about uploading all those albums. I'm like, hey, look, I just dropped this one. Bam, this is the one that's going up there. The old music, I'll slowly get to it, but I'm not breaking my neck to get to it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
you know, so I mean, I'm looking forward to the stuff in the future. I'm could really care less at this point about the older stuff.
Right. I feel that. All right, so getting into our main little piece, let me switch out the song so we can have, because that was only for y'all ears only, because y'all won't hear that song again until it has people on the background of it. But I mean in the foreground of the song, not in the background. But to get right into our icebreaker, I actually one of our main topics was going to be the icebreaker, and I was like, you know what, nah, there's too much juice in this. I'm a hold that and actually make that a main topic. So we'll just do the regular topic of what have you been playing lately, get an update on what y'all been playing. Jack, yeah, we'll start with you, man.
So I found college football on sale. So that was like, it was like 20 something, and then with the like $15 I had off, and then also my $5 thing with GameStop, I got it cheap. So I think I got like $13. So
nice.
Got that, been playing that. The Road to Glory thing is kind of throwing me off. I don't like, I expected a little bit more from Road to Glory, but you know, silly me, EA. So I mean, that's but outside of Road to Glory, what else have I been playing? I've got back on Crash Nitro Fueled. It popped up on Game Pass. Initially I have it on the Switch, but with racing games, I'm just an advocate for the 60 frames with racing games, and it's not like that on the Switch. So so I've been playing that, continuing to of course play Batman on the VR until I finish that. And I think there was something else I was playing. Oh yeah, so I picked up Final Fantasy. Well, I didn't pick it up, but I started playing Final Fantasy X on my Odin 2. So I've been, of course, like the PS2 emulator to play Final Fantasy X, because I thought about getting the remaster that they did for the Switch, but I was like, do I want to spend the 20 something, or could I just play it on my Switch? And that's why I played Odin, because I wasn't sure if they made that big of a change with it other than graphical.
Yeah, I don't think so.
If it wasn't, you know, any gameplay changes, I'm like, I can just play the game. So I mean, it's been good. But honestly, I thought I was going to be playing Indiana Jones today. Apparently not.
So what happened? I didn't even get an opportunity to throw that in. But what happened with that?
So I know it came out Friday.
Yeah, everybody been doing a comparison videos of the movie and all that.
So apparently there's like, I think there's an early release, which was this Friday, and then the actual release is the 9th. So when I went to Game Pass, it was like, oh no, you can't play it right now. I'm like, but they was like, no, it's because, you know, it actually comes out on the 9th, the early access stuff, which I feel like is a little bit disingenuous, because they've been saying for a long time. But every time I clicked on it, it was like, no, you can't play it, you can't play it, you can't play it. And then they said the 9th. I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of crazy? This is not the first game to do that, but like the real, you pay extra.
Drink it all so I don't know why you want it.
Is there another one?
There's some in here still.
Okay, that's great. Is there another one over there? No?
No.
Oh, it must be in my car.
I can fill this back up.
No. You do not use that kind of water. This is good water. Thank you.
This is the Holy Trinity water.
Right. I don't play that. No, absolutely not. What was I gonna ask you? Dang, you just said something. I was gonna ask you about it.
The Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. Yeah. So, that's what I was saying. Thoughts in mind. Thoughts out of mind. So it's crazy now that you have to pay extra to play the game on the release date. And if you don't want to pay the extra, then you got to pay it. Then you got to play 3 days later. That's so wild to me. I hate that. And I know people are like, no, that's like the early access date. Like you get to play before everybody else. No, you're
It's
really
only
playing
3
it
days.
like it's
Yeah.
the game is already readily available. It's not like you're jumping in an early access or anything like that. The game is ready. They're just making you pay extra to pay it on the day that it's supposed to come out, and if not, then you have to wait 3 days to pay the game to play the game. Like,
You might wake up some gamers.
Yeah,
Right.
Don't do that.
'cause honestly, this is like a practice as old as time at this point. Because I think I was just doing a video talking about the PS Vita,
mhm.
to where I was in Alaska at the time, and you paid extra to get it 3 days early, but you could only get the 3G version early. So if you had like AT&T and all that good stuff, then you can go pick up that and add it to your subscription, or not subscription, but your payment plan. But yeah, I'm like, if the game is available, I'm paying you to play it early. But like Vito said, it's 3 days. Like,
Right.
Yeah,
like,
Right.
3 days. Yeah.
I get it. The anticipation will always get you, especially if you
Mhm.
really, really want the game. But yeah, to make me pay like an extra, sometimes upwards to like 30-40
$30,
bucks.
$40. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's wild to me. And I think it would be one thing if it was like a multiplayer game. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? 3 days early for a single player game, like for what? Like
Yeah.
That's what threw me off. So I mean, I went into it with that anticipation. Also, there was Marvel Rivals. Tried that, put that down. Like,
tried it and put it down. Oh
I was
no.
hyped because watching Geronimo play it, I was like, okay, this looks cool. But then when I start playing, I was like, damn, this is exactly what I've been playing. It's just so I'm not saying it's bad, as it doesn't capture me, because even when you look at the characters, like I start using Venom
Mhm.
when I first start playing, and I'm like, cool. And sometimes like you're attacking, you don't feel like you're attacking. Like I don't feel like my
They kind of do like one of these, and you like, okay, yeah.
doing anything. It's like, okay, I just did this dive bomb and I don't see a reaction. Like,
Right.
that's where it always
They
throws
just fall
me off.
back like this.
Yeah, like it doesn't. I don't get it. Or either like, even if you don't even do all of this, you're still in motion, but you're just flying backwards like this. Is
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's still in the fighting stance, but jump back real quick. Yeah.
So, not saying for anybody that's looking forward to it, not saying don't go play it. I mean, it's free, so I mean, go try it out. But ultimately, when I played it, I was like, okay, the characters I care about, and it's in this format, and I start playing. I'm like, I just don't. Maybe it's the style, it's the game style. I just don't. So I don't care who you throw in front of me. I just don't care.
Dang, that's unfortunate. I've never been huge on arena games like that anyway. So there was no amount of trying to capture me to play any of those type of games. So that's unfortunate, because I think it has to be like one that's like, yo, bro, this is, you remember Splatoon when it first came out? This, that, like, oh, okay, then let me check it out. But outside of that,
so let me ask you a question, because this is something I've wanted to get an answer to, because I can't figure it out myself. There's games that we see release, and whether you see interest in it or not, it gets a lot of attention. Yeah. And at some point, you'll start getting that itch. Like, what do you think makes people try to continue to pursue or like something, even though they've tried it 1-2 times over? Like, for example, with me, I've tried Horizon. Like, I've given it my all. Like, you can look at my PlayStation like user account.
Yeah.
Like, I invested time in both Forbidden West and the first one. Like, and then even the VR one. Like, I invested time for all three. I just can't snag it, but I don't know what keeps making me want to try to get. Maybe I feel like it's like at the wrong time for me sometimes, but then I go back like, I'm just put this down. Like I just like like
so you don't finish the game at all?
Like, I don't feel the need to, nor do I finish it.
So like no real desire, yeah.
And even if you saw me finish it, it was because I seriously forced myself. But I just don't know what that is.
So for me, and I think we've talked about it, Jack. I think you in the same boat with this one. For me, that's Monster Hunter. Like, every time I see a new Monster Hunter game, I'm like, this is going to be the one. Like, I'm going to invest the real amount of time. I'm gonna be up there. Like how much I see my dogs talk about it, and they got the sweet armor and all that stuff. I'm gonna be right there with them.
Right.
And then I put a good 40, 50 hours in. I'll be like, nah, I'm done. I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like part of it is I'm not really one for like the hype train, but sometimes, especially with like specific, like certain people, they be like, yo, this game is fire. Like you gotta try this out. Like all you gotta do, and like even if it's a game that you play and you like a perfect example is I've never beaten Link's Skyward Sword. I've never beaten Skyward Sword.
Me either. No.
And I stop exactly at the same spot every single time. And I'm like, I gotta push through, because they're like, if you can just push through, I'm telling you, the game is dope.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to that point every single time. I'm like,
nah,
I can't do it. I can't do it.
And see, Joyce, like I would agree with you. Like I feel like there is a thing of when things are hype, you want to like be excited too. In this case, there's no hype around Horizon. Like, like I genuinely look at Horizon, and I'm like, that looks like an interesting game. It was the same thing with Red Dead. Like it looked interesting. I'm like, man, this is a beautiful game. Rockstar, like I love Grand Theft Auto. Like I want to see what you do with that setting. Like if I had to pick my top 3 games with Rockstar, it'll be Grand Theft Auto, it will be Bully, and then ironically enough, table tennis. But I was like, okay, let me get into Red Dead, because I didn't get into Red Dead Revolver. I didn't get into Red Dead Redemption, the first one. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I didn't hear anybody going crazy over it. So when I played it, and I'm like, I'm halfway asleep, like controller falling up my hand. I'm like,
that's
you definitely got to play that first one. If you play, you talking about 2, you got to play the first one to really kind of get you invested.
The first Red Dead Redemption is the better game to me, to be honest with you.
It is.
And see, that's the key thing that what Vito just said too, is like, I don't have any investment in the second. So if the first one is like a continuation to the second, then maybe I will hold some type of investment to it. And it was kind of the same thing with.
It's kind of not though, you know.
It's in reverse. The second one is weird. The second one is the prequel of the first one.
Oh, right. Okay.
So by the time you get done with the second one, like the first one really kind of starts up. I don't like that idea, because Red Dead Redemption 2 is like that's misjudgment. But
I could figure it out, because even watching, I've tried to watch speed runners go through Horizon, and I don't finish it. Like, and that's only like maybe a 2-hour commitment, because they speed run through that game pretty quick. Like they fall through the floors and but it's just not interesting. So
you think it's the music, the soundtrack? Because I was literally like looking at some kind of like video talking about psychology in gaming, and there's games that are like the bomb, like top tier, but people don't give it the time of day because of possibly they probably started it and then they listening to the soundtrack, and it kind of if it has like a smooth chill tone to it, they kind of like, oh yeah, I'll play this later or something like that,
right?
Opposed to like a God of War was like you'd be like, oh yeah, what we about to do here? You just walk
drums going. But there is some credence to that. The fact that if I play a game, let's say for example, if I know the dialogue of certain games and I don't need to listen to the story because I played it so many times, I can throw my headphones on, throw on some music, and I'm like, it makes it easier to get through the game because I'm listening to something that is keeping my interest, but at the same time I'm playing the game. So maybe there is some credence to that, to where it's like, all right, cool. If I want to make it through, let's say Horizon, and I just throw on, I don't know, some Glorilla or something, and I'm like, all right, cool, we gonna make it through this. Glorilla gonna take me through Horizon, you know what I mean? Memphis Mine gonna take me through Horizon, you know.
I think part of that too. I think probably the biggest problem is actually, to me at least, is the mechanics of the game. So like and I'm not just talking about like, how the controls work and stuff like that, but speaking of controls, I think that's really where Skyward Sword loses me, because even it's not even just the control scheme, because we've gotten the updated version. You know, I got my daughter the game, and so you can use the thumbstick now. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like I don't have to wiggle the controller. I don't have to do all of that. But like every enemy having a specific way you cut them and all that other stuff, it. I won't say it gets to be too much, but it just gets it. I don't know. It's too much. It is too much. And even thinking in that same light as Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter always grabs me immediately because of the big monsters. Like, okay, I can't wait to see what my next suit is gonna look like if I keep taking this boy out, you know. But that is also the problem with Monster Hunter with me, is like, oh, I gotta attack this same creature 5, 6, 7 times just to get this armor that I want. And like after a while, like and it's not even, it's almost like a lottery play, right? Because sometimes you make them, you know, you'll cut the tail and they'll run off like you need them to run off, or sometimes they'll just die and you'll be like, okay, well, I guess I got to do this over again. Just so
that is the thing with Monster Hunter, because I first got into Monster Hunter with, I think it was Generations on the 3DS and the Wii U. So that's when I started playing it. But when I started realizing, like, okay, cool, here's this big monster, and they played the hype music when you get close to them, and you gotta hit them with the paintball so you can keep tracking them. And it's like I gotta run them down, especially when I get to the points where I'm start seeing them drool and limp off. All right, we here. It's already bad enough that it's long as sin to get them to that point, but it's like, all right, we here. And you say, all right, cool, I want this armor and I also want this weapon. So you mean to tell me I gotta fight him maybe possibly 6, 7 plus more times, and I gotta hit him on his tail possibly, or hit him on his head, or hit him on his arm? Like, all right, cool, that sounds great in theory, but no, I'm no. Like no. I'm just not going, because I did it to a certain extent, especially with this last one. I went heavy on it. I even took part in those little raid battles that they had, and Jay and I played it a little bit, and then it's like, okay, it's not that it's repetitive, it's just you get worn out over time. And it's like, all right, cool. And I can understand that this is more of a group event, but solo play is available. And with that solo play, it's like, dude, I'm hit, you run away, hit, you run away, hit, and then by the time I get you and you like, okay, here's my rundown, I already got all that. Like, I don't.
Give me the one thing I need. Stop playing with me.
It is a gamble at this point. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do all that. But yeah, it's tough. But yeah, I just wanted to ask y'all that question, because honestly, there are some games I feel like genuinely I can give them their respect. It's kind of like having that artist that everybody loves, but you don't, but you respect their accolades. And you're like, you know what? I respect what you do. You're not a fan of mine, but I respect what you do. But then you find yourself like, let me listen to you one more time. Maybe it's something I miss. Maybe it's like,
that's Drake for me. That's literally Drake.
See, Drake for me was, I liked him early on. I don't like him now. But for me, this is Jay-Z for me. Like, I respect how he raps. I respect his music. It's just, I'm not throwing on a Jay-Z song, but I'm not downplaying who he is. It's just, I respect who you are. I respect you so much so as if somebody came to you and say, hey, he's the best rapper alive. Okay, I'll give you that. But I'm not listening to it. So,
that doesn't mean I have to listen to it all the time. All.
Yeah. So that's where I am with some of these games, to where I'm like, dude, I see the potential. You look good, you run good, you like you have something there. Let me give you a shot. Then some days, and I get it, some days, you know, whether it's me trying to come from work, or, you know, saying after dealing with the kids, maybe it just wasn't that time. And then, you know, another day I tried, I'm like, okay, cool, had a free day, nothing was bothering me, and I'm like, okay, maybe I just don't like it. Like, I started up looking like Starfield. I turned it back on yesterday. It didn't even get past the loading screen. I was like, nah, nope. Investment, because it's like you sitting there watching it, like, man, I'm gonna have to sit for a minute. Then I got to talk to people. After I talk to people, I gotta go through here. I gotta go do this. No, I'm cool.
Starlink is one of like you. That's why, like, whenever I play that game, I'm like, all right, I need to be right in the middle of something.
Starfield.
Like, or Starfield. Yeah, Starfield. Yeah, Starfield. Even Starlink, I'm not even gonna hold you up. Even Starlink, when playing that game, I gotta be like, I have to be near some sort of action. Because if I'm just in space, I'm just like, nah. Nah, but even Starfield, like I have to be in the middle of like a mission or something like that. And you know, like one of those, like it load up and you like you be like, oh. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times if you just like coming out the ship, or even if I'm in my ship, I think that's probably the worst place to be. But like be in the ship and I'll be like, okay, all right, let me see what's in my stash. All right, let me see. Okay, hey, and I was supposed to drop off that gun over here. Let me go over to the other side, and then the next thing I know, I got 30 minutes in the ship, and I'm like, I literally did nothing. You know, like I'm not trying to play this right now. Like,
I know where I'm at. Like I had just finished what I wasn't deep. I think I finished like my first mission, and then I went into that big city that they make you go, and I was like,
New Atlanta. Yeah,
I was like,
New Atlanta. Yeah.
Nah, I'm cool. Like, I'm cool.
You know what irritates me about Starfield is like the dialect part. Like they tried so hard to be Mass Effect with it.
Yeah,
it irritates the mess out of me because the dialect, or you know, you're talking and stuff, and it's like it takes too much of the time. You know what I'm saying? And plus, your character does not actually speak.
Right.
They're just you know, you just hit the little.
It's funny.
Yeah, so I thought it wasn't. I don't like that.
Yeah, because I feel like that's probably the one where they really try and drag out conversations the most. Like Skyrim wasn't heavy like that, and neither was like any of the Fallouts where it was just like having long-winded conversations.
Yeah.
And you like, okay, but get to the point though. Like
that's the key thing too. Like, Starfield almost killed a lesson I was trying to teach my kids because like. My kids are notorious. Click, 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 and then they're like, "Yeah, what am I supposed to do?" I'm like, "Well, you didn't read it." It's like Starfield. I'm like, get to the point. Like it's like, just tell me. Like, do like most games, a highlight.
Go back. Is there a back out? Hey, I'm gonna restart this and not go to them.
Dad, that's what we're talking about. Like, no. You speed through the tutorial, dude.
Right. All right, let me read off some of these games. It looks like.
Let me say mine. It's gonna be a surprise. Bayonetta 2.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up. You never played it before?
No, I just recranked it back up. So Bayonetta 2. I play Rivals. Kind of like y'all with the arena thing. Well, all right. So the last arena game I played was the Star Wars Hunters, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And that literally, of course, was repetitive, and you know, I think I was trying to get a certain armor set of the Mandalorian armor set. I think it was like the master one or whatever, right there, right? Whatever. But it takes you a long time to level up. Like I leveled up very quick, but then it took me a long time to level up some more past that level point. And so then it started kind of getting irritating because then like people start getting their teams and you know meeting up, and then you get the one sniper dude that you can't find.
Oh yeah, never find him.
Yeah, I'm like I cannot find you, but I hope I spawn where you're at so I can pop you as soon as I get back in there. But when I was playing Rivals, it kind of did not feel like that, but at the same time it did. And it felt like it was just like just a repetitive, you come back in and you do and it don't feel like you really you know what I'm saying? It just feel like you do like
yeah.
All right. Stagger.
Yeah. So and it looked like the attack is like you just what I'm saying, did something crazy. But they just
no reaction. Like no reaction. It hurt my spirit so bad. I think that was one of my key gripes with Pokemon too. It's like oh, you're about to do a seismic toss, and it's just, I'm like, no.
Oh yeah. They be like, you know,
Or they close their eyes like,
Yeah, like
yeah.
see you hit somebody. Like I want to see you just bow. Like if they add that to the next, like they can give me Scarlet and Violet right now. Just let Pokemon actually like hit each other for real, for real. Like, I know it ain't gonna happen because it's kids, but still.
hey, like I'm poking.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
Yo, they was scrapping. They, like,
That's all I needed.
Yes.
That's all I needed.
I'm
That's all I
still
needed. I
waiting
needed
for
that
another
bit.
Pokemon. Take Pokken to the next level.
For real. But I started playing Hogwarts Legacy again.
Okay.
Like I was saying last week, I was playing
Y'all
Hogwarts, so I was playing that, and I was I'm doing the Hufflepuff stuff. I already went through their little mission and stuff. So, and then I started Arceus back again.
Okay,
Really?
that's what's up.
Yeah, but I had to like restart anyway because you remember when I got the OLED,
Oh,
it wasn't in the cloud, so
Yeah.
my save stuff wasn't in the cloud, so I lost all of my.
yeah.
Ooh, that's enough to make me not pick up a game. Like
That's real cool. If I still own the game, yeah. As a matter of fact, if memory serves me correct, especially with Pokemon, that kind of game, I would go far enough to get the Pokemon that I wanted and transfer them over to the next Pokemon game. Like you getting transferred. That's all I want. Bring them over.
Yeah.
I'm good. But that's what's up.
Yeah, but yeah, those are the games I'm messing with right now. Oh, and of course, I mean, this is what I do. I'm a gaming player, so where my attention span might be a few hours on this, I'll skip over to something like I'll be like have a thought like, hey, the game comes on today. Let me go play some NCAA real quick too, just to get hyped up for the game or something. So that's always in the rotation. Like sports games to me, it's always in my rotation. I just don't really say too much about it. You know what I mean? So
they're always there. I mean,
yeah.
Right. All right. So J Big said he was playing Metal Gear Solid, also Echoes, and he said, "Oh, Lollipop Chainsaw." Hey, Sergeant said, "Brothership is slow start, but really fun." That's what's up. I'm glad to hear that.
Like I blame myself for letting reviewers get in my head with that game because I was excited to try it out. But yeah, I'll pick it up now. I'm definitely waiting for it to go on sale, but I'll definitely pick it up. Sure.
Squared said, still playing my usual free to play games. Join the Fortnite Crew subscription. That's what's up. That's what's up. Let's see. Joycey was saying that she was playing something. Or waiting for something to come.
Was that good?
Her copy of something. Oh, Lollipop Chainsaw. I'm assuming that's what she was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, I've been playing Black Myth. So I'm finally in chapter 5. It's the last chapter of the game. And like I've been in. I'll say this. I'm about to
frustrated in the mud.
So I've already been in this. So you already passed that point, right?
I didn't know of it.
Okay,
I'm on chapter 3.
Okay, so I just beat chapter 4, right?
Yeah.
And chapter 4 was the first time that I authentically got souls frustrated. You know what I mean? Not that regular frustration, souls frustration. And if anybody know about a souls frustration, it's different than a COD frustration.
Yeah. Oh my God, they're cheating. They're cheating,
bro.
Bro,
you don't know how many times I was like, I know I hit him. I hit him. Die, bro.
You start talking to the screen. You're cheating. You are cheating. That's not right. I know I hit it. I know Are you working?
Right.
Batteries.
You know how many times I was like, oh my gosh, bro, stop cheating.
Stop eating.
Oh my god!
Stop hitting me. Let me hit you.
You know I
I
dodged
paid
that
for
move.
you.
So many times I've been like, "Yo, I dodged that move. I dodged that move. I dodged that move. I know I dodged the move."
Hey, you doing that look?
Right. And there's so many times in that game. Not yesterday. It was a couple days ago, but so many times where I've gotten the health bar like down to here,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll be like,
And then next thing you know, he
all right,
doing.
I'm good.
Yep.
Dodge, weave.
And he hit you with
Drink
a
your-
wop wop.
Drink your full. Good. You good. Just wait for the moment, and then he'll do that one move, but it'll add an extra hit to it, and you'll be like, come on, man. Oh!
Then he'll be like, then he go down, like your health go all the way down, and then he hit you with his real quick. It's like, no.
I think finally the one time, like I was like I had the controller up here and then I died again. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to bed. And I got up and I got to the end of my little desk and I was like, no, that hoe ain't gonna do me like that. No, that hoe ain't gonna do me like that. I'm about to play one more time. I'm taking this boy out. You ain't about to put me to sleep. So but anyway, so chapter 4, right? So I ran up and I got to a certain point where it was the final boss of the game, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm fighting a couple times and then he goes into this mode, and I didn't even realize what they were at first, but it's a mode where he almost creates a dome around the whole place. And I'm like, okay, you Bankai or not Bankai? What's Jujutsu Kaisen? You doing the little zones now? Okay.
Oh my god,
you ain't gonna handle me though. So as soon as it starts, like I'm attacking him, and he's not flinching in stereotypical Souls fashion. So I'm like, okay, cool. All I got to do is just dodge these shots. But as I'm dodging these shots, these lasers keep shooting down at me, and I'm like, bro, this is too much. And I die again. I did that 6 times. I ran and did that 6 times and got mad, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
We're gonna go to the hyperbolic time chamber. It's time to level up. Like we're gonna sit
get
back
a
and level up.
In there.
Yeah. So I'm going around the area, and come to find out, so there was this open area, and I'm like, oh, this looks like a boss area. And I walk in, and nothing happens. So I'm like, weird. Let me go back and see if there's any other places that, come to find out, there was a boss that I hadn't even fought. So I defeated him, easy. Get to this other area, and I fight him again. I've died once. It was on some simple stuff, but I was like, okay. Ended up beating him, and he opened up a whole secret area. So I'm like, okay, let me go through this secret area, see what they talk about, right? So I'm going through the area, and then it's a boss that I had fought before, like at the beginning of the level. Okay. And I'm like, okay, you got handed last time. I have no problem coming and give you these hands this time. It was not that situation. Come to find out, this was the 100-year younger version of that same boss. So he was spry. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And so I was getting handed and getting mad. And I was like, all right, you know what? Forget this dude too. I'm about to just keep going on with the level. And I get to another area, and it's the end of the area's boss. So I'm like, okay. And then this dude, this other boss that I was just fighting shows up in that battle. And I'm like, oh
wow.
So that's what we doing. Okay. And we on the same team? Oh, okay. But best believe after I handle this dude, I'm coming back for you. He ends up dying in that battle. And I'm like, really? Oh, yes. Lost against the same boss 13 times. I counted it. Back to back. Finally beat this dude, and it gives me like a special item. So I'm like, okay, this is the item that I needed for the other boss. Go back to the other boss, fight him a good 3 or 4 times before I realized that when he creates that dome, you're supposed to use the thing on him. And he's like, oh, I'm all staggered. I'm like, okay. And finally beat him. So now I'm on the 5th area. But that was the first legit time, bro, I yelled at my computer, like legitimately. Always cheating. I would love to see you in person. Yeah, it had me way out of there.
I'd see that's one I didn't get an opportunity to play, but my son's been on it. Like he was like, this is a different type of game. Usually he's with the shooters, and he called me today after I came back from the gym. He was like, Dad, guess what? Mom let me play for an hour and I beat the game. I was like,
Dang, that's what's up.
He did I think he said he did all like the secret bosses, because I guess there's a thing where you have to finish it a certain type of way to get the good ending to get new game plus. So he did everything he had to do. But yeah, he was like, now I'm getting ready to go through New Game Plus. But yeah, he was super excited. Like, man, I beat the game. I finally beat it. Like, okay.
Man, that makes me mad. I hope I still get Game Plus, because if I lost Game Plus just because I let that other dude die, I'm gonna be so mad.
Yeah, he said something about you got to do like all the secret bosses and all this other stuff. I don't know the details of it, but he was saying like you have to do all the secret bosses. But
dang.
I don't know. It's some interesting stuff that they got stipulations for New Game Plus.
Right. For New Game Plus at that. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be wild. Let me be mad, because I will put that game down. You're not gonna catch me on the Game Plus. But like I would definitely love the final suit and all that other stuff to go back through and hand these bosses a butt. But if it means that I missed out on that chance,
yeah, that's crazy.
I'm good. So I went back and played. I've also been playing Perfect Dark, the 64 version. So I think I'm in that part where you meet what's the alien's name? Roger. Is it Roger? It is Roger.
I have no idea, my friend.
I want to say it is Roger. Like, just like in whatchamacallit?
American Dad.
Yeah. Yeah. That's weird. I wonder if they did that on purpose. Anyway, so yeah, been playing that, been playing a lot of that.
Okay.
And yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay.
Before we get into our main topic,
I had to bark at y'all because we just won.
Oh, good job. That's what's up. I wanted to show shout outs to Sam for showing this to me. Yeah, that's the one I want. I want that one. Okay. We're gonna check out one trailer, and then we're gonna
wait. Hey, real quick before we get in that, have y'all played Nine Souls yet?
No.
Nine Souls? The one that to the trailer that I showed off last week?
Yeah.
No. You played it? Oh, Elvis. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate you.
No, I downloaded it. I downloaded it.
How did you like it?
I said I downloaded it. I ain't played it yet. So
okay.
I was trying to see if anybody, you know what I'm saying, like got into it just yet.
Because this was a Souls-like situation too, right?
Yeah. As a side scroller, so
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looked dope. I mean,
it's Game Pass. I mean, I could try it. I just didn't download it.
He got the Ip Man style, doing all that.
Yeah, it looks interesting though. But yeah, I haven't tried it. I've been looking for something to dig into, because I haven't like sit down and invested anything since I beat Sea of Stars. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking for something to get into. So I mean, this might be it. Is it a roguelike situation?
Yeah.
I cannot still relate this.
Yeah, neither can I. But I mean, some of them are worth the time, and the other ones I'm just like, yeah. All right. So our little trailer today. Shout outs to Samo for bringing this to my attention, because it looked like it was something that was really interesting. It's called The Precinct. So let's check this out real quick.
I'm Louis.
I've seen this.
Director on The Precinct, here to talk you through your beat as the ACPD's newest recruit. Welcome to the Rotten Apple. Good police work starts on the ground. Everything from parking infractions to vandalism.
The only thing that threw me off with this is nowhere near close to being released. So I was like, geez.
Early access though.
Yeah, I was like, stop showing me stuff I can't get.
Be ready to hit the streets on foot if things get loud. In this town, that happens all too often. When you've caught your
You run
mark,
up on the
you need
wrong
to
one.
follow procedures to make sure you handle the interaction appropriately. They could be a good citizen
don't know
who
where the
made an
crowbar
honest
came
mistake,
from. It just
or
came out
a
of
career
nowhere.
criminal wanted for multiple offenses.
It looks it's
Dang,
my type
guys.
of game.
That's not
Is
to
like
say
when
can't
you
step
watch
up and
IGN
fight
play it.
to
Oh
meet
my
every
gosh,
once in a
they'll throw
while.
you off the game quick. I'm like, who y'all got playing this
Call-outs can
game?
happen at any time. You'll need to be ready to
Woo!
respond. Not everyone will react positively when you arrive on the scene, but you've got a variety of methods
Golly.
at your disposal to resolve the situation. Let your partner handle the paperwork. It's time to gear up for the next mission.
Yeah, let me get that AK. Let me get that
Gain experience. Tonight, we're taking to the skies on a helicopter
Okay.
patrol.
Helicopter.
You'll need to keep the spotlight trained on the perp to bring down their resistance meter while coordinating the ground response of the support member.
Nice.
Okay.
You can call in squad cars, spike strips,
Spike strips,
roadblocks,
okay.
and more to help you bring them to justice.
Ghetto bird.
You can, of course, get involved in chases more directly. Call in the same support from your car.
Hey, that gun sounded crazy.
Got him a desert in there.
Sometimes, though, what's needed is a good
The suspect is
old-fashioned
running. Oh, I would love that.
Don't worry,
Right.
Get him.
standing by
Don't
to
run.
assist if
Oh, don't.
Regardless, you'll need to make use of the city's geography to catch up with criminals and hold your own in
Stop
a firefight.
resisting. Stop.
Right.
Stop.
With the final
Stop resisting.
booked, you're ready to end the day's shift. Avrono's citizens will sleep a little safer for your efforts until tomorrow. Try your hand at policing the procedurally controlled world of the Precinct on PlayStation 5 later this year.
All right, so how y'all feel about that?
When I first saw it, I was like, yes. When is this releasing?
Mm.
And then it was like, oh, early access. Like, dang, like this is like, awesome. Like, stop showing me stuff I can't play. Like it looks good, but like I said, the when I watched more gameplay, I went to IGN because they had like a little special to where they were able to play, I think, 30 minutes of the game.
Mhm.
And you can tell it was that person that's like, oh, let me see if I can run into everything and see if I can do this. And I hate when people do
Yeah, yeah.
so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna let you ruin it for me, but it looks good because there's another game that's getting ready to come out too, which ironically comes out this month, and they've shown no gameplay for it. They've only showed like CG for it, and it's called a Highway Patrol Simulator. And it sounds good, but the fact is I have yet to see any gameplay because they keep showing the same CG cinematic for it, but and it's supposed to be out this month. I think that's not
yeah, that's always not a good sign. Oof.
Let's see.
Yeah. Go ahead and if you could bring it up for us, sir. Samo said it's the demo is free on Steam, so definitely check it out.
Let me see if my ROG like can actually run that because that thing be acting a fool sometimes. Okay, I got some gameplay right here. It's a 14-minute demo.
Okay.
Let me see if I can present my screen. Yeah, I know. You ain't gotta tell me all this stuff.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Did
it's like
you wanna... Oop. Who did I take out? Vito. There we go.
Let's see.
Oh.
I like how she's standing. Like she just got off a horse.
My thing is, it's like, do you like go around looking for stuff, or is there missions?
Right. I mean, it look...
things they do have stories.
He's pulling up on something.
Yeah.
Oh, something already went down.
Yeah.
Dang, that many cars, golly, what happened?
Right.
Then just like a police officer, and the nice car went apart crazy. Secure. Oh, okay.
You're going through like the whole Florida,
like all the process. Huh?
You go through like the whole Florida situation right now.
Wow.
Accident, you know what I'm saying? Look like drugs. The clues, okay. But yeah, you got to go through the whole thing. So it's similar to what looks like the police simulator in itself. You got to lay down all the cones. But yeah,
Wow.
I mean that's something that popped up. But you know, those simulator games, some of them can be pretty fun. But
Yeah. Sam O was actually talking about talking to me. He's been talking to me a couple days about card 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 store simulator. I think that's what it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, Samo. But card store simulator. And I looked that up, and it looked like it was pretty interesting. He said it was really addictive too, where you start a card store, and you know you can open the packs and stuff like that, and sell the cards for a greater price, and you know,
telling you, it's weird how that,
PCG card shop simulator. Yeah, thank you.
it's crazy because even like they got a what is it, like a grocery store simulator?
Yeah, he talked to me about that one too. Yeah,
I mean, stuff like
They got
that.
a sim for everything.
They really
Yeah.
do. Even
Yeah.
with the car mechanic simulator, like
Mhm.
the crazy part about it is you can genuinely get knowledge from those games because they try to make it as real as possible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how authentic is the truck driving games and stuff, and how many people have actually became
I
truck
know.
drivers off.
I was just about to say, Jack. I was gonna say, I know a person. It was Jack.
Yes, sir. We were in it heavy before I moved in the house because it's just kind of hard to set up the steering wheel and all that good stuff. Especially trying to play it off of ROGLI, like it works, but you gotta like some finicky things here and there. But honestly, going through that process of starting off renting a truck and then like taking on these jobs, and really, I mean, the modding community is what took it so high, because honestly, it's very generic in what it does. But when you get to the modding scene to where you can drive by and see like Walmart trucks and seeing like Burger King signs and all this other stuff, like you get to a point to where you try to get your license to see how you can carry more and more stuff or carry more toxic stuff, and that's what gets you more money. So it's like getting those different license and you know how far you want to drive, because there's some days I'm like, all right, cool, I just want to drive, you know, they got certain states, like they don't have it to where you just drive all over the world. It's like, okay, here's the Nebraska pack and here's the Colorado pack. But really it's like, all right, cool, I got my truck, I got to get from this point to this point. All right, how much gas do I have? All right, sometimes I got to stop over and go get some gas. Or you got to do those check-in points, because if you don't do those check-in points, it's a problem. You know, driving, you know, with people in front of you trying to fly past you. So I mean, you got accidents on the side of the road. So I mean, it's real detailed. And most people like, you can just sit there and you just in the truck all day with it. I was like, throw on some music and then just drive. I mean, that's really where we at with it, and just trying to get to that point to where you can pay back that loan and then get your own truck and then start your own business and hire your own people, so you don't have to do all the deliveries yourself. You can hire other people to start doing those deliveries for you to build up your business. So yeah, it's pretty dope.
You know, that'd be so crazy if they can just get cameras and engineering just right. And it's literally, you know, like you really got a real truck outside, but you can just sit here and video game it. You know what I'm
Do
saying?
that
Like,
already.
Yeah, that's
Happening already.
yeah.
Because there's
Cybertrucks.
yeah, the Cybertrucks. There's like most truck drivers, like I know real truck drivers. They that play this game, they have like the 3 TV setup with like a real dash that they got from like a junkyard. They take it serious, man, because it helps them practice. Yeah, I mean, like helps you get into it, but then also too, like I was saying, like that already exists. Of I'm driving from my house, but I'm controlling this actual truck that's carrying actual cargo and dropping it off. It's bus driver. Yeah, bus driver simulator's on point too. And that one be pissed me off a little bit because I'm like, I did not miss my stop, but you know, it's
you ain't pick up a kid.
Simulator actually added a school mode to it. So you're driving a school bus and all the kids talking in the back, and sometimes you like gotta tell them to shut up. Like, hey, yo, shut up. Y'all too loud up here. So you stop the bus and you walk back there like, who's got the loud music? It's wild. Well, I'm telling you.
I'm writing all of y'all up and calling y'all mamas.
Have y'all ever played the airplane simulator?
I tried it, dude. That one's it's hard.
It's hard. Yeah, dude. I did a flight from here to Kalamazoo, right?
Right.
And I guarantee you, sad story.
Mm-hmm.
I crashed into Kalamazoo Central.
I
I kid you not. I crashed right into because I was getting hyped. I was like, "Oh snap!" And it actually was kind of accurate on like where certain stuff were, certain schools and stuff like that. I pointed out probably where Lincoln was because I saw Mount Zion. Well, it was just a building, but you know what I'm saying. You can tell that was Mount Zion. And I was like, oh, okay, there we go right there. Da, da, da. So I'm flying. I'm still flying. I'm like, how many schools can I see? I wonder if they can, they got the arenas right and all this other stuff. I went past Western and I was going to Kalamazoo Central. And then I hit a little, I don't know what it was, but it was like, why I can't pull it back up? I was like, oh,
wow.
That's the end of that. But it's cool because they gave me a chance to, they said you can either fly it yourself, like literally sit there and fly that 2-hour flight, or you can skip ahead to like X amount of minutes to like, almost where you want to get to. So I was like, I skipped all the way up to like just about to approach the state of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I was like, yeah, I know where I'm at now. So I started kind of going down.
Because it has missions,
like,
right?
huh?
The game has missions now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
I loaded up and I was like, oh yeah, I'm finna fly to my hometown. So I was like, all right, cool, flying from Florida to Alabama. And boy, I did not realize, like, y'all want me to fly this whole thing? Like, oh nah, sir, no.
Right.
No.
Prepare for 2 hours.
Right. I'm not about to stay for 2 hours. So at least with the truck simulator stuff, those things are shortened. It's not real life like distance. But yeah, if I didn't know you could skip. Is that a new thing or is that something that's always been there?
To be honest, I don't know because I was playing off of Game Pass when they had it on there. But it might be a newer thing because they did say like when I was loading it up, there's like, oh, the brand new this and the third updates and da da da. So it might have been a new thing, but definitely like before you even take off, like you're like making sure that your engines and things of that nature is like good to go, your controls and that you're fueled up and that you're leaving at a good point of time a day and all this other, like you really about to really fly, what I'm saying? So it's definitely detailed in the mug. I wished I would have kept messing around with it because there was that update with the Doom helicopters or planes or whatever. I did want to do that, but I just didn't. Like once I did that flight to Michigan and crashed, I said, "Nah, flying is not. It's not for me."
See, I feel like that could be an even better game if you did have like the controls for it. Like I mean, that stuff is expensive, but if you had like the proper controls to move around, I think that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just
Where
not
did
paying.
Sandstorm go?
I don't know. His stuff acting a fool. I don't know what's going on.
But yeah. So, what else do they have that's like a great simulator? Like they had that Power Wash simulator. They had the farming simulator.
So the farming one is the one that really got people's attention too, because it's very detailed as well. Power Wash, I've only played Power Wash on the VR one. Now I just couldn't finish doing that because it just made my head hurt. Like trying to stay in that, but people love it. Like I said, the car mechanic one, the grocery store one. They have I think it's only for PC, but they have the drug dealer simulator.
Oh, I seen that. Did I see that on No, that was Steam. Yeah, I only saw it on Steam.
Yeah, because when I said it, and my fiance was like, "Stop playing." I'm like, "No, like here's the trailer right here. Like it's real drug dealing simulator. Like you can move that weight. Like it's
they had a drug dealer simulator and a prison simulator. So.
Yep. I'm telling you, that prison simulator is the one that people go crazy for too.
Oh,
yeah, prison simulator, because like there's two. So you got like the actual simulator, and then there was like the prison simulator that's like the little chibi characters, like the little 2D characters.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know
You have to like build your own prison and all that else. Like, yeah, it was definitely a thing that people love, man.
Yeah,
they make a simulator for everything, and I'm pretty sure there's one for the freaky ones out there too. I'm pretty sure it exists.
Oh no, it's there. I'm look. You go to Steam.
Oh yeah, Steam
and
got all.
Just type in simulators.
Yeah.
There's multiple that pulls up. Like,
oh yeah,
like, bro, really, y'all?
I already know what time it
really.
is. I already know what time it is because it's just that's nuts. I'm not that deep into it, but yeah, I mean, some simulator games, when you think about it on paper, you like, okay, why would I ever play that? And then you start playing them, like, okay, I just cut the grass for like an hour. Like, it's crazy. I don't know how you get into like you playing a video game to work. I'm like,
man,
yeah,
oh wild.
Yo, cuz, where'd you go? That was crazy.
My thing just was like, you know what? We shutting everything down. Shut it all down. I'm like,
shut it off.
What did I do? Look, what did I do?
Go to bed. Go to bed.
I don't understand. Okay. Okay. So our next trailer is the Gran Turismo trailer, and I guess this is the conversation.
Jack, they got Bar Simulator.
Oh yeah, Bar Simulator. Like, I don't know if it's the same one on the Steam versus the Quest, but the one that's on Quest is called like Drunk Fighter Simulator.
Oh, is that the one where you be like in a bar and then you just start wailing off of people?
That's all you do. Like, Dad, can we buy it? I'm like, no.
I want to learn before I actually go.
Right. I'm like, dude, we're not buying that. Like, just going to just buy. I'm like, all right. No,
yo, I need that. I need that because I just want to go in and be like, hey, you got my money? What?
Right.
You got my
what up? Right. What up, cuh?
Where you from though? Hey, this is a bar. Where your grandma stay.
Samo said, I like simulators where you build a business like the truck when you get drivers that help you get the money. Yeah.
It gives you something to do.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing with the farm, not the farming, but the like the lawnmower simulator. Like, you build the business.
Yeah. They should do a rapper simulator.
How would that work?
Yeah,
I don't know, but that would be crazy as heck.
Or do a music studio simulator.
Music studio simulator. They probably got.
You can kick people out.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Or you know what? I would be interested in, like, if they did like a record label simulator where it's like if you're like the CEO of Interscope or something like that. Like,
you got to find talent. You got to go out and find talent and make sure you give them the right A&R and the right coaches and everything else to make sure that your song stay number one. Yeah, that would be dope. Like, they
make sure you had the right ghostwriters. Make sure you don't mess. Make sure you don't mess with Kendrick. Just all of that.
Yeah.
Hey, look.
Make sure you get you a Nicki.
Hey, mods for that would be nuts.
All right. So we got Gran Turismo's new trailer. Sony's new free-to-play game.
That's nuts.
My Gran Turismo. I know, it's wild to me too.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we're gonna check this out. This actually is out as of yesterday. It came out. And the news actually popped off. When did I send that? Tuesday? I think the news popped off Tuesday.
Yeah, you said about around like Tuesday or Wednesday when you said that. And I was like, what do you, huh?
Right. Right. It was like, is this even real?
Right. I questioned. I was like, because the first thing that came to my head was why? Why are you?
Right.
It just threw me off. My first Gran Turismo.
License Center.
Why did they name it that?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Is this the old school joint though?
No, this is the one they just released.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about like, did they like? All right, I'll ask you after this. Hold on.
It looks exactly like.
Yeah.
Yeah, Samo. Yeah, this wouldn't be my first Gran Turismo. Like that title.
All right. They for real playing this, huh?
Oh, that's what it is. Like you play that, like especially when you wait for it to download. This is what plays, and the only thing you can race on until it fully downloads. So yeah,
Oh no, that's wild. Nah, that's weird. I couldn't do that. I'm gonna
I had
turn it
to
off.
I had to look at my computer like, what else is playing over here? Because I know that's not the video.
yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Uh
Shout
oh,
out.
Initial D.
Shout out to the Saints, but I can't. I can't do that.
So it's a total of 18 cars. And I'm guessing they only give you a certain amount of tracks.
But what is the point?
It's free.
I'm even then, like I'm trying to think what if I'm Sony, why am I doing this?
Right.
It's not like so Gran Turismo 5 has been out for a minute.
Mhm.
I mean it refuses to come down in price, but you can catch it for a decent sale. The best way to play is with a PS VR 2, but I don't know why you're doing this. Like
Right. Yeah, I don't know where this comes from.
Hey, Sony does their own thing.
oh,
You
we know
that-
this.
Right.
And the reason why I was asking though, like I was like, by them saying my first Gran Turismo. Hold on, what was the name of that?
My first Gran
First
Turismo.
Gran Turismo, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it had another. It had some more stuff on the bottom. It said real
Racing, real racing simulator.
Yeah.
That's just all of them though.
So like, all right. So the reason why I was saying like, oh, was it like an old school theme just because of the 30th anniversary situation? And if you have a PS5 right now, you can change like your settings to like when you turn on the system, it'll play the old school like what I'm saying. So I was wondering like, are they doing this like an anniversary type of like, yeah, we giving y'all a little something throwback for free, but obviously y'all saying it looks like 5 and
It's exactly the same thing. I don't. Yeah,
I mean, some of the cars there wasn't like a new car in there.
right.
So I guess there could be a little bit of validity to there. I think the newest car that was in that list was probably the Audi TT on there that I saw. Some of the other cars were kind of blank. But yeah, I don't know.
hey,
Part of me.
good.
So part of me is like, I wonder if this was to replace the whole situation with Concord. I mean, because it's free to play.
Shots
You know
fired,
what I'm
shots
saying? Like,
fired.
it just and I'm even more curious if anybody has picked it up. Let me know. But if these are actual like full races, because the way the map looked, it looked like there was a starting and an ending point. Like it wasn't like an actual full circuit course. You know what I'm saying? Which I guess would kind of lean into the free to play piece. It's supposed to be like a piece of the actual game, and make you want to buy the full game. But like,
the license test is not going to make you do that. If anything, it'll make you not want to, because the license test, those things are difficult. They're not easy to do. Like that, of course, with anything, it starts off easy, but when you get to like with towards the end of license A, like it's tough. Like that's not, you got to watch that playthrough a couple of times to see how they cut corners and made things happen. That's not exciting for anybody to play.
yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, just I'm kind of so. it made me realize that now all of the big three, more or less, all have their own free to play games. And I kind of use that. Well, no, I don't use it loosely because they do. They all literally have their own free to play games at this point.
Who?
The big three.
Like,
Yeah.
like what's Nintendo's?
all the app games, all the mobile games, your Mario runs to your Fire Emblems to your Pokemon Goes. Like all of those are a piece of their what you would call free to play, and if you want to play more, then you move over to the actual system.
I would say they're the only ones that. I would say Sony's the only one as of right now that has it with a mainline game though.
Yeah,
that's a first. Like I don't.
Yeah,
Xbox has done that.
No, I mean
So
outside.
what's Xbox free to play?
I would say it was Call of Duty.
Yeah,
or even Halo, because Halo is.
What we consider that by it being on Game Pass though, because that's kind of everything they have.
Really. I mean, but that's Microsoft in itself.
Yeah,
like even Halo is their main title, and that's a free to play for their multiplayer. Yeah,
you don't need Game Pass for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess it just puts them in the field of now everybody kind of has their own idea. I would even say like Ninjala is not on anything else, is it?
No.
So I mean, if more or less you want to call that a Switch game, but I know Nintendo doesn't like personally back that game.
No, they don't
per se. So, but yeah, it's just kind of it's kind of crazy to me that they, like you said, that they would put this game as their free to play, put a free to play style strategy on it. I honestly, even before watching this trailer, so this is the first time I watched this trailer, I banked money that they were going to use the cars as the buy-in piece, right? Mm-hmm. So you start off with a basic car, whether it was a bug or something like that, something to make you be like, I don't really want this car. Right. And then they give you the option to have another car, which is like, this car is a little bit better, but then you have to, put in some sort of currency or whatever in order to get like the better car. But it looks like you can unlock all these cars, or you have to unlock all these cars, in order to, rank up or get better. But at the same time too, it does look like they're trying to stray away from pay to win. So I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I did not see a purpose for this. Like I honestly did not see why this was a thing, why it happened. It just didn't make sense. Like usually you can look at it, or hear other people's opinion of like, oh, this is a good reason why they did this. I don't.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And on top of that too, like I said, like this, we found the news out about this on Tuesday. Yeah. So
they just dropped it like, hey, here you go.
Yeah, obviously it really wasn't that serious. Vito, you got a PS5, right?
Yeah.
Did that ever show up on like your
like just the 30th like edition or anniversary thing? And I think when I went to the game thing to find Marvel Rivals, it wasn't popping up. It was like, oh yeah, it's coming to the woo.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. So it's not even really being advertised like that. So
they ain't advertising none of their stuff, really.
They really not.
Like once you go straight on, once you log into your Xbox or even your PC and you have like a Xbox situation on there or whatever, Xbox is hitting you with the we got this, come on, get that, we got a special on artists on this on Horizon, you gonna come over and get some of it. So you get bombarded with the Xbox stuff, but then once you go on the the PSN network stuff, hey, you want to play this? Hey, this is what's popular right now. Hey, they playing that 2K. You want to play some of that? None of their stuff is like in the forefront. So I don't know what's up with Sony with that. They weird, I guess. I don't know. They have a Drake situation right now where they're too cocky about something. They don't need to promote. I don't know.
I mean, they're in a good positioned to where no matter what they do, because people don't consider Nintendo the competition, they really can do whatever they want to do.
Right.
Because I mean, Xbox isn't doing anything right now. So really, I think the high praise that Xbox has gotten is the fact that Indiana Jones scored high on Metacritic, which is crazy because my thing is like even if it did score high, if you don't like the game, it really wouldn't matter either way. But you know, they play the numbers games over in the console wars. But yeah, I don't know, man, because even with the PSVR 2 went down in price, and it was like, all right, cool. They did this with Gran Turismo, cool. The PlayStation 30 anniversary, like people were hyped, but then when they realized that stuff was for a limited time, it's like, oh, okay, y'all kill that. So, so my son was like, Dad, I switched mine to like the PlayStation 3 background. I was like, you're not keeping that forever. He was like, what? I was like, yeah,
it's going away soon.
Going away.
Don't think that will be forever.
I switched mine to the PS1 stuff or whatever. And I was like, yeah, nah, this ain't gonna be here. They about to as soon as I probably log in tonight, I go back in there. You need regular. Like, all right, bet.
That's crazy.
Right.
Like I can get the consoles and the controllers, but the themes, really? Like we taking the themes away? I don't know, man. I'm ready for next year already. I really am.
Sony tripping. I'm telling you, Sony is on some type of like Michael Jackson tried to warn us about Sony. Come on. Like,
he really did.
Like seriously, man. Like look, if I go on Sony's site and y'all trying to throw Cowboy Carter at me, there's something wrong with y'all.
It really
what about your PlayStation 5?
All right.
Show me what's going on with that. Not Beyonce.
So speaking of PlayStation 5, Sony is reported to be making a handheld console to compete with Nintendo's console and supposedly Microsoft's console.
You know, I'll let you usher that in. I'll wait.
Are you talking about that Portal 2? They said they was gonna make it into like more
about like an actual handheld.
Yeah, an actual handheld.
Vita, PSP type ordeal.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't they try that before?
Not what they're talking about.
No. So they're
trying to switch it. Trying to be like Switch.
Yeah.
But weren't they trying to be like Switch with the Portal a little bit?
No, that was the Wii U.
Might as well say it was, but I get what you're saying, Vito. But that was just like a half attempt. Like, hey, we got a handheld too. Like,
the reason why I was saying that is because I was like, okay, what if they do? Okay, I don't know how they gonna do that. They had their they had their runs with like Vita and PSP and all this other stuff. What are they trying to do? What is their end game here? What are they trying to accomplish?
To try and capture a piece of the market that Nintendo already has.
Is this going to be $500 too?
Oh no, because you got to look at the next. Like you got to look at the PS6, and then that's what will tell you what it calls. Because obviously they feel like it's okay to sell secondary devices as the same price as your primary, but you know,
so pretty much $700. Yeah, I got you.
Right. So I did, along to Vito's piece, I did hear that the console will be built on the PS Portal's reported architect, like the schematic of it. But it was actually going to be a standalone device. But even still, like, this is my thing so you can say whatever you want about the PlayStation, the fanboys, whatever. This system's gonna be more powerful than Switch too. Because we always the best. We got the most powerful system. Your system is lame. And I mean, the Switch is gonna come out before this system, obviously. Yep. But that's not even the big thing. That's not even the thing that I want to know the answer to. What is the game format for this?
Mhm.
We
That
putting
was
Are we
mm,
putting Blu-rays in the back of a in the back of a console now? Is that what we gonna do?
see,
Oh.
that was the same question I raised because the the one thing I didn't like about the article was like, oh, you're gonna be able to play PlayStation 5 games. No, you're not. Like, stop telling people that because what you're gonna say is, oh, PlayStation 5 games, and it's only gonna be games that are somewhat like doable on like PC, PlayStation 5, and this device. Like,
Mm-hmm.
stop. Like, it's not going to do that. But either way, even if let's say it does play PlayStation 5 games when the PS6 come out, because apparently this is not anywhere near close
Mm-hmm.
coming out.
Yeah.
So let's say is hey, here's our PS6, and then a couple of months down the line, all right, here's our handheld that can be partnered with the 6. The same crap they pulled with the PSP and the Vita when it came down to the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4. I would assume it's more of well, I mean, those were standalone too. They just had to where you would have to double dip on the games because there were only a few developers that would give you the Vita game and the PS3 game
Right.
in the same package. But even if it was a standalone thing, I've always said you still need those handheld type games, like
Mm-hmm.
those 20, 30-minute games that can get you where you need to get to. And
Yep.
I get it I understand that third party does exist, but
Mm-hmm.
for all of us that choose to pick a console, first party is a thing and they need to represent.
Mm-hmm.
What is Sony going to bring to represent for the handheld? Or are they just going to say, here's PS5 games that can also be played digitally on this thing? Because honestly, I think they're going digital with it. I don't think there's any media format for this at all.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. I think this can be. I think this is weird, right? Because you already have the portal, and that's already a thing now. Like the biggest difference between, Nintendo and Sony, even in that regard, is that the the Switch is by itself, right?
Yeah.
You got the hand, you've got the Switch Lite and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That represents a piece, and then you also have the Switch OLED that kind of represents the same piece but a more powerful system. But
Mhm.
like all those games run the same.
Yeah.
The problem with the PS5 is you got the portal that is now they're talking about it can play all your digital games, which is great. But you're tethered by, and this is here's the problem right here. You're tethered by the Wi-Fi still in order to play those games, right?
Correct. Yep.
So this is literally just the portal with a hard drive, so you could put said digital games on the hard drive. Like, and you're gonna charge me for 2 to 3 times more than what the original was for that. Like that doesn't sit well with me. That doesn't even make sense to me, to be honest with you.
Right.
Because you're still gonna have to connect with the Wi-Fi in some sort of way to get those kind of updates and everything that you need in order to play those games in the first place.
And my thing is, will this be a dockable situation, or do you say handheld only? And if you want to play it on your TV, switch it over to the PS5 or the PS6.
That makes it. But see, no matter what facet you look at it, you are still fundamentally going to be behind the Switch, no matter what you do.
100%.
Like, if it's only digital, we still get physical games, so we can move in and out of the games.
Yep.
It's still stuck on a Wi-Fi in some sort of way because it needs the updates, and Switch doesn't really rely on that outside of like the Switch Online type of stuff.
Right.
If you want to play on the screen, you have to switch over to the big boy console. So you need the big boy console in order to have it, which is another $500, $600, $700 if you want the pro version.
Right.
And then you still have to have that system talk to said system so you can switch over.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to switch over on the fly at that, I'm not even talking about like, okay, let me hit the save button, put this game down, and then go on to my PlayStation, turn on the game, wait for the main screen to load up, load the game, and then I'll be in the game. Like they don't do that on the Switch. So like now, you playing catch, you might be ahead as far as like graphical prowess, but like you're behind in functionality, way behind in functionality. So it's and then you have to think about the system, the portal that you now just cannibalize, because now that system doesn't even make sense. It's so weird. If this was the PlayStation 6, if they were like, hey, listen, like our model of this is done. We're done doing it this way. This is how we're doing it. First off, all us Nintendo people will be like, yeah, we told you so. But secondly, I think that almost would, if you're really going to do this, that would almost be the smarter move to do. Just be like, this is the PlayStation 6 right here.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yep.
Because as of right now, if you had another system, another full bulk body system on top of this, it almost feels like you keep trying to throw stuff at the wall and hope something sticks at this point. Like, they're going to like something. They're going to like something. We just going to keep throwing something and it's going to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Said the same thing. Because for me, I was like, okay, the way I looked at it was, if you release a PS6 and it's your typical under your TV console, and then you say, okay, here's our handheld. To me, you're either A, stupid, or either B, you're spitting in Nintendo's face, because now it's like, all right, we don't think you're really that big of a threat, so we're just going to release a handheld for those that like that idea that you're pitching. But we're not going to fully commit to it. Now, anybody that's been around long enough understands that Sony's secondary devices, they don't invest into them. They don't hold up with them. As much as, not like, history can be skewed when you look at numbers. The PSP, yes, it sold 80 million plus whatever the case would be, but that was because that thing got hacked to high heaven.
Right.
Like, people did not continue to buy that because of the games it was producing. It didn't. That wasn't the case. Like, the DS was the one that was popping off.
Right.
But even the same thing, like the Vita, while I feel like it was a better handheld, it cannibalized itself with the proprietary memory that cost just as much as the video games.
Yeah.
Like, for me to get 32 gigs ran me like $60, almost $100 for that. Like, it was crazy. So they cannibalized themselves to kind of get away from people hacking their device.
Yeah.
So now you find yourself in a situation to where, okay, we're going to take another stab at it, and people want it because of nostalgia. Like, let's be honest. Like, if you really don't care, it's nostalgia. So let's say they do release this handheld and they don't take Nintendo Series. Let's go that route first. They don't take Nintendo Series and they just release one to say, okay, it can play your PS5 library because they share the same store and it's digital only. You can play those games, you can download them. I don't know what type of, like, yeah, you can get 2 terabytes in there. I would be kind of scared for Sony to sell me 2 terabytes.
Right. That part.
I'm kind of scared about that. But I'm curious, as in, will they allow me to expand my memory with an SD card? That's to be seen, because I believe what Samsung just came out with an even faster SD card that the rumors now are saying that the Switch successor is going to be able to take. But you got to have a means to allow me to expand my memory. If you're only selling me the memory that I'm able to do, or I can take it out myself or whatever, I mean, it is what it is. But ultimately, if I'm looking at Sony, the games that you sell me are not going to look and run as great on this handheld as it does on my main console. So now, do you, as Sony, say, okay, we're going to do this in reverse of what Nintendo did? Nintendo combined their teams together. To where before they had them separated. Do you now have a handheld team versus a console team? Or do you say, console team, release this version and make sure that it can also run on this handheld as well too? Now you're running into issue because you're cannibalizing things. Or are you going to rely heavily on PSSR and think that is going to carry you home on the handheld front?
Yeah.
So if we look on the other side to where like, all right, cool, this hybrid thing is a real deal. Like Microsoft's talking about a handheld. We see Switch's success with it. We see the Steam Deck. We see the ROG Ally. Like we see this is where people want to go. They want to be able to take their consoles with them and play console-like games. What does the fan base say to that? Because now it's like I don't have the under the TV situation anymore. Now I have to go out and buy a controller. Knowing Sony, you're gonna have to buy a dock. So it's one of those things where like you're really asking those questions to where I can see Sony appling this thing in a sense of like, you want a dock, buy it. You want a controller to play, buy it. Like we're gonna have to find a way to get this to upscale, so that dock probably ain't gonna be cheap. Like they're probably gonna put components in it for you to get something equivalent to
at least whatever. Yeah.
Right. So that's where my problem lies. Because at this point is I don't know where they're going. I don't know what they're doing.
It's too many weird things. Like you said, with the games aspects of it, it used to be that the Vita and the Portal and all that didn't share game libraries with the main stuff. Like you did not really get any mainline stuff like that. They were two separate functionalities. With Nintendo, you may have had two different things. Like your Pokemon games would be on your handheld, but then you had stuff like Pokemon Stadium that like kind of leaned into that. Like, you got the Game Boy stuff. Okay, let's move some of that stuff, and you could still play with the stuff that you already had. And now they're at the point where, like you said, both of their teams are together at this point. So it's all in one. How do you do that with Sony if you got and even to your point with having a dock? Sony fans, and I say Sony fans because I really feel like Sony listens to Sony fans. But Sony fans are so heavy on graphical prowess. And you're talking about having games that are not PS5 games because that's disc related. The PS6 will probably be disc related. How do you take a game that's not disc related and put it on their handheld like that and still sell them and not have and not have a performance and a quality mode on top of that for that said system on top of that, and try and sell it to somebody for the same price as a PS5 or a PS6?
I don't know. Like, but they put themselves in this corner though.
Yeah.
Like you asked for people to clamor about the best looking, the best running. Like you just even dropped the Pro to solidify that. So now you gonna run it, like you gonna pull it back with this next one? Because truth be told, if I had to take a guess, Sony's gonna drop a console that's PS6. They're gonna drop a console, and then they're going to then drop this handheld. They're gonna be bold enough to do it. So now, who was it? RJ was saying like Sony said the Portal was a success. I'm fantastic. I'm glad it was a success for them because I'm pretty sure it didn't cost them much to make it. It's really it's an Android device that can do remote play. But when we talk about something that stands on its own, that's a different beast because now you got to invest some real money into it. So if we're talking about that, and I'm already seeing Sony skimp on games, I'm not relying on them to give me handheld games. I'm not. And then third-party developers, I'm sure as hell not.
Definitely not going to be messing with that. No,
because they already complain about what they got, and they're already giving you half-baked games and saying the updates are coming later. Like, I just don't trust it.
And I would even say to the point where the biggest thing that really kind of keeps third parties away from Nintendo is saying that the system isn't capable enough.
Right.
If Sony comes out with the system, it doesn't even let's be real. If Sony comes out with the system, a handheld device, it is always going to be in the realm of Switch 2. Like regardless of how much more powerful it is, They are still going to be in the same realm, in the same box. And at that point, you can't be like, well, it can only run on a Sony device. It can't run on a Switch too. Like it's not realistic, which means you also going to have to come out with the Switch version for that. Unless you tell them the truth and be like, we don't mess with Nintendo. Like, we still feel some sort of way.
Right.
Because I can't, to be honest with you, in this world, more so, this is Nintendo's world. You know what I mean? Like, the handheld world is Nintendo's world. It has always been Nintendo's world. You can't tell me that a developer who now has the access to make it, or has to, let's say Sony is like, if you're making a device if you're making a game for us, you have to make a handheld version of the game so it can be on this system. Ooh. There is no way in the world you can tell me that a company would be like, I'm only going to make this for Sony. Like, not with handhelds, definitely not for them. Like, that's not how that works. They definitely want some of the Nintendo pie.
For sure. Like, it would only make sense.
Yeah. So
they're already successful in that pool. So why would I not go with something that's already been proven versus, I guess, a group that I'm cool with, but their device hasn't been proven? Like, there's no way I'm doing that.
Right. So it's one of those interesting. It's interesting, man. I think that's muddy. That's messy. Yeah. I would to be honest with you, I would pitch it. I would throw it away. I'm not messing with it.
And this is what I was talking about too. Like, we had this conversation, what was it, like a couple of months ago, when we started having a conversation about like where we felt each of the big three were going.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, I felt like we couldn't guess Nintendo, but we knew they were going to continue with the Switch idea, because they cracked the code. Like, they got the hybrid thing on there. And then, you know, we were even speaking on the Winging It podcast of like how either they calculated it perfectly, or it fell in their lap to where they have the best scenario for like the software or the AI power for making these games better when we talk about DLSS, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we understood where they were going. The Xbox has had it on the wall for a while. Like, we're trying to go the cloud route and the subscription based route. Like, you can buy a console, you can buy a PC, you can buy a TV. Like, if you just want to play something of ours, then just get a device that has a Xbox Game Pass or Xbox Cloud on it. Like, even though, like I said, I feel like the marketing is misleading because it's not all Xbox games. It's only games that are on the cloud. But still, that's the direction they're trying to go to. I did not know where Sony was going, and I still don't know where they're going. I don't think they know where they're going, because the idea that we're still in set-top boxes, what, a couple of generations later, and decades later, like, to where in reality they improved from a hardware standpoint. Games look beautiful. Some run great. Like, but if you really strip away everything else and you just go straight to the gameplay, did we evolve it all? Like, are the games that I'm playing now, are they introducing anything that I couldn't have got PS2, Xbox 360? Like, is it any different? Because I remember somebody was showing what was that game called? Red Faction. Like, construction in that game that everybody was going crazy over. That no longer exists. Like, that was crazy to see. Like, you can just tear down anything. But I think what still has it, Just Cause might still have that mechanic, but for the most part, I feel like we got prettier games with the same mechanics. And that's where I feel like we're kind of failing in a way. And that's what I worry about for Sony, because let's not get it twisted. I'm a fan of gaming. I prefer to play on certain consoles, but I by no means will I ever want to see Sony go away. Like, I don't need them to go away. I need them to be around for competition. But then also too, I think there's this thing floating around now that Gabe is getting ready to take another stab at this console.
Valve console. Valve, the Steam machines.
Yeah, those Steam machines. Like, I thought those were great ideas back then. It's just it wasn't executed properly, and they relied heavily like on Alienware and Dell and all that stuff. But
Yep.
now that they figured out what they're doing, and Steam is uber popular.
Yeah.
Like, that's what people prefer to go to, as long as they treat it like a console. Understanding that it's still Linux and all that good stuff, and you can get to the desktop. But as long as you get to the point of making it like a console, they could truly step into this console game. Because one thing that a lot of people forget, the only reason why your console gets to those 60, 70, 100 million sales is because casual gamers show up. So if the casuals don't show up, you don't sell that much.
Right.
So if you don't make this casual friendly, they're gonna steer clear of it.
Yeah.
So all they really would have to do is make sure that you have it like the Steam Deck. Steam Deck has their profiles here and there, but also too, they have to get more serious about those verifies.
Yeah.
That they have, because it's almost like they stopped doing it, and you don't want to find yourself in a situation to where a casual gamer says, "Okay, Grand Theft Auto 6 is out. Oh, it's on my Steam machine. Cool. Let me go buy it. This runs like crap."
Right.
Like, what do I do? Like, how do
Right.
like, no one wants to scour through Reddit and forums all day to try to figure out how to make a game work. So they really need to start partnering with these developers to say, all right, cool, you're getting ready to make a game for PC. If anything, you really should be focusing on like our chipset and everything we have within this machine.
Yeah.
But if you don't go that route, let us know what's up and tell us how to properly run this, so that way we can put profiles up there the same way they have the controller profiles. Like, if you don't know how to like bind your controllers to make a game feel a little bit better, they have a community for that. Have a community for system settings of how to make this game run properly, so that way I don't have to go and have my phone up on one screen and then have me looking like, okay,
messing with the settings.
that's going to be ugly. So if they can figure that part out, which I feel like is the easier part, have a team for that. Like, Gabe, hire a team at Valve and say, all right, y'all play through these games, tell me what these settings are for our system, and then we'll put them on the community board. And then that way, whenever they go to buy the game, I can say, okay, we got community settings for this, and it runs at this. If you don't like what it runs at, then stay away from it. But if you like what it runs at, cool. But going forward, we need to start having these companies look at us the same way they look at PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo, by saying, okay, I need to make sure that my game runs properly on said device, opposed to just saying it's on PC.
Yeah, it's you know, and to your point, I think, to be honest with you, I think the whole Steam machines, kind of like Jay said, I think that would be Microsoft's biggest competition immediately. You know, because all of that stuff is already on Steam, so it's like, okay, like, we don't have this avenue of any game that you want to get, come over here or bring it everywhere. And I mean, part of them probably won't care because they're still getting some sort of piece of the pie off of your system. But that also means even less hardware if their hardware is competent, you know, and especially if you're getting the PC versions and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's that, I think that would definitely, and that, oh man, that would be so tight on Sony. I wouldn't like it. Cause like as if you have another pillar in there that's kind of linked over to your side more so than, you know, Nintendo's, yeah, they got the, you know, the Steam Deck and all that, but something that's linked more towards your side, like how do you differentiate yourself? And it's even worse because your games are over there too.
There you go.
There you go. What do you do at that point?
You know? And that was my concern. Because no matter how you swing it, if you want to look at the creativity bag, nobody's beating Nintendo. Like, Nintendo does not have to play that game. They can come with something creative and still stay in this race. And plus, their IP has been built and it's solidified, and they keep adding, because I will put Splatoon in that bag now. Like, that's in their big seller bag now.
Yep.
So they continue to keep adding with that. Now, Sony and Microsoft not so much, because Sony doesn't really keep their IPs.
Right.
And then
Right.
Microsoft really only had 3 big ones and really haven't had anything past that.
Kind of, yeah.
So when you look at Nintendo, they're cool. Microsoft can go the same route that Valve is trying to go. The only problem I feel with Microsoft is their OS is horrible for gaming. Like my Windows is great if you're working, but as far as ROG Ally, like that's a headache, dude. Like I'm updating 3 or 4 different separate pieces of that device for it to run properly, and then it just doesn't function. Like, granted, yes, I can boot straight into Big Picture. Yes, but if I gotta update Big Picture, then I gotta update Windows, then I gotta update what Armor Crate for Asus, then I gotta go update Asus. It's too much.
Yeah,
I don't, you know what I'm saying? So if they can find a way to create an OS that functions, because the benefit that Windows has over Valve, Windows can play every game, Valve can't.
Yeah,
because Linux hasn't gotten to the point of getting with those de novo cheating software. They can't play those games, and they can't play games from other companies. So like when you have to do like an Epic, or you have to do the 2K launcher, or the BattleNet stuff, like it can't do that. So that's where Windows has it right now. All they have to do is just buckle down, make a solid OS that's only for these devices. Like it doesn't have to be on the computers. If you want it on computers, make the same way they were doing, like Google was doing Chromebooks. Make your gaming PCs with this OS, and then have your work PCs with this Windows 11, Windows 12, whatever. Make a tried and true OS that's only for gaming, and that way, when I turn this thing on, I better already have BattleNet downloaded. I need to have Steam downloaded. I need to have Epic downloaded, and whatever other launcher downloaded. So that way, whenever I go in here, same thing that Shadow always harps on. When you turn on the Xbox, the moment that I scan that QR code with my phone, I go set up to my phone, and it's quick, it's easy,
and it's right there for you.
Right there. They need to find a way of doing that, because I don't want to try to type in everything with my controller. Like, it's a lot of launchers if I have something everywhere. So
Nvidia has this. I wonder if I can bring it up too. Let me see if I can show you. Nvidia, yes, it does actually. So Nvidia has this for their new setup, because it was split in two. It was the Nvidia Experience and Nvidia Now. GeForce Now, yeah. I think they slowly got rid of GeForce Now, and now it's just Nvidia. So all of your stuff is sitting here. If they can if Windows can just figure out, and like this is where you would, do your drivers, as you can see, like the drivers, the graphics, and all that other stuff, and you can go in. Oh, now it's gonna hide it from me. That's funny. That is funny. It was like, nope. Guess what you not gonna show?
Right.
No, but even in this space, it'll show you all the settings, and you can change all the settings before you even get into the game. And show the recommended settings, and where you can, if you want to just do the recommended settings and everything, it's all sitting here. You can revert it back to how you had it before. Right. If Microsoft can figure out a OS that runs just like this, and all you have to do is just tap the screen on which game you want to play and power you right into the game, like that would make that would be some trouble. That would be some real trouble.
Because honestly, they don't have to keep playing this console game. You just turn PC into console to where, in reality, yes, I still feel like Xbox needs to serve up exclusive games. Like they
absolutely
their games. But right now, if I was to drop a console with that idea of a lockdown OS, to where it's kind of set up like you were showing with Nvidia, because they have GeForce Now, Xbox has Xbox Cloud Gaming. So the only difference between the two is with Nvidia GeForce Now, which I didn't know, if you buy a game, they will take a look to see if you own that game or if it's on their service, and it will, like, depending on what subscription you pay for, it will either be something equivalent to a 4070 or whatever the case may be, depending on what tier you purchase for. So I feel like that was pretty dope because honestly, if I had GeForce Now on my TV and let's say they take God of War and it's on GeForce Now, if my subscription is to 4070, then I get priority and I get a 4070 computer. So that way it's supposed to run smooth and run at its highest. So that's where Xbox is not doing that. Like Xbox is like, hey, we got the games on the cloud. If your internet's straight, then cool, it runs. But if your internet's bad, it's not gonna run all that great. But either way, cloud gaming is cool. And you have a system to where it's like, all right, here's cloud gaming, so you can still play on the cloud. I think the only thing that'll be tough is if I'm coming from Xbox, my library is not coming with me to PC. So if they find a way to figure that out, that'll be dope. But all in all, I can play PlayStation games, I can play PC games, I can play Xbox games, and if you're feeling funky and somebody figure it out, throw them emulators on there. Like right. Got it all in one spot, and you're not having to mess around with too much stuff. I'm only updating in one spot. It does an auto update, so I'm not updating in 5 different locations. So whenever it says BattleNet needs to update, it'll update. Anytime Epic needs to update, it updates. GOG, like there's so many different launchers, like where you can get your games. I think that'd be dope.
So I would say all that to say, man, I hope Sony.
I'm worried.
I would have to see what this so-called handheld would look like and what's the purpose and the functionality of it. Because that's an odd thing to have a handheld on the market and a half-stepped handheld on the market too. So our last topic for today is the future Switch 2 titles. Now I know that we've kind of alluded and talked a little bit about a few of these and where we felt like some of the next iterations and franchise like Nintendo franchises should go. So one of the ones so I was thinking, as far as like some of these games, great, Mario and stuff like that. What would you like to see them?
Your audio's kind of weird, but I think you said something on the likes of like future games.
Yeah, did I like fall way back?
It's like it sounds like you were far away, like underwater.
It's got to be this thing. Hold on. Let's see if I can tap it just right. All right, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
Okay. All right. As far as future games is what I said. Whether it's 1080, Wave Rays, the next Mario, blah 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 blah.
Right.
Where do you feel like the next game of your what franchise where they should go or the direction they should go in?
For me, I think I have a few because I thought about this before, actually today in a way. I've always liked the idea of having the good and friendly for everyone game and then the game that presents a challenge. Yeah. So I feel like with Mario, you can play Mario, anybody can really make it through. The challenge really kind of comes in if you're trying to collect everything, but for the most part, you can make it through. To where on that same platformer, Donkey Kong is the challenge. Like that's the harder platformer. So I feel like they're missing that in the racing realm. Now I know a lot of people look at Mario Kart and then instantly go to F-Zero.
Yeah,
I lean towards going back to Diddy Kong racing in that way because, like, as much as most people claim they love F-Zero, they really don't. Like,
no, they don't.
And then even with me, like, I've bought the F-Zeros, I've bought the Racing Neos. Those, like, my eyes just can't keep up with those type of things. Too many colors too fast. So if you're gonna go with racing, I'm playing Crash Nitro Fueled. The I say change some stuff up, but the racing within that game, there's different mechanics and things that are not in Mario Kart. So like for example, if you want like the speed boost off of drifting, all you gotta do is drift long enough. When it gets to purple, bam, that's the max you can do.
Right.
With in Crash, when you're drifting, you got to hit the other button at a perfect time when that smoke turns black.
Yeah.
So you time it properly for you to get that triple boost.
You just can't hold it.
You can't just hold it. They still got the same jump, and once you jump, you boost like Mario has. Of course, items differences, and then the aspect of winning a race to get the trophy in first place, getting the relic, which means you have to beat a race in a certain time, and then the CTR stuff to where you have to collect CTR within the level and then also get first place. So of course don't copy it to the T, but definitely take a look at Crash, Diddy Kong, and Sonic All-Star Transformers Racer, because they all have something. It's just the mechanics of Mario Kart are so tight that those other two couldn't pull it off. But if you take what they are doing and add a little Nintendo sauce on it, I think you're good. But don't do it with Mario. Do it with Diddy or do it with whatever character, because I feel like there needs to be a game that everyone can come to and it's fun. But then there's that challenging game. So I feel like that's what they need to do. As far as like franchises, if I had to name any, always go for my Donkey Kong 3D all day. Like
that's enough. 3D is enough.
3D Donkey Kong, like go back at it. Like I said, Diddy Kong Racing, as far as the racing is concerned, I do think because of all this rigmarole around Call of Duty, and like some people like it, some people don't, and then these contracts and things that I think Nintendo needs to take their shot at first person shooters. Like take a crack at it. Like I love Splatoon. I think also too though, me and my son are kind of on the same page. It was something about 3 was missing. Like I don't know what it was. It just didn't feel the same. Like it didn't feel new. Because we love 1, we love 2, but there's something with 3. I don't know. I feel like it's something they need to change up. But ultimately, it was still a good game. And then when the DLC came out, I didn't have the game anymore with the DLC when the DLC came out. But I heard the DLC was pretty good. Because it was also like a what's the type of game I just said I don't like? The one that's like Hades.
Oh, roguelikes.
Roguelike, yeah. So this is like a roguelike game. So that's where I'm like, I don't know. I didn't play it, so I can't really say. But ultimately, I think they need to take a crack at first person, just for that crowd. You're the one with gyro right now. You got the 2 controllers that can really pull that off. I say go on that route. I would say if they're gonna create
Federation Force 2, I dig that. So yeah, I see you.
Yeah, for sure, 100%, because it didn't get the love it deserved before. And then one more, I would say they really need to dip their hand in the what am I thinking? The strategy bag. Because honestly, like Mario versus Rabbids is cool, but Ubisoft is Ubisoft. But I think they need to go back in the strategy bag, similar to like Codename Steam. They need to get back into that. And even if it's Codename Steam, like you don't have to go and create something brand new.
Right.
Even if you bring Codename Steam to the successor, do that. So that way you kind of cover the board with a little bit of everything. You got your racers, you got your fighters, you got your shooters, you got your party games, you got your platformers, you got your action adventure games. I don't know if they'll ever go into the horror thing again, but you know, horror games, because honestly, for me, stop depending on third parties at this point. Like I know they'll show up, but just stop. Because like, and I know like as far as first party is concerned, I know Metroid's there, but it needs to be like something new, because honestly, while Metroid has a great name, it doesn't sell great. And I think it's something that needs to start anew, where they kind of get into the multiplayer bag. Because I told Jay, Metroid still doesn't sell well if there's no multiplayer aspect into it. Like first party,
I wonder. That makes me wonder if 4 is actually going to have multiplayer, especially because we all think that at this point it's going to be the game that coincides with the Switch 2 release. So
it needs to have multiplayer. That game is dead if it doesn't have multiplayer, because single player only gets you so far. Fire Emblem does count as a strategy game. The way I was looking at it was more of well, actually, nope, you're right. I wasn't even thinking about Fire Emblem. So Darvoy, you're right. So they have the strategy bag. So really, yeah. I mean, to me, first person wise, while Metroid is there, doesn't do anything. Fire Emblem successful. From a third person point, Splatoon successful. Racing, Mario Kart successful. Platformers, Mario. Trying to think.
Their adventure is Zelda.
Zelda has become successful recently.
Fighter is Smash Bros.
Yes, yeah, I'm about to say fighter. Yeah, so yeah, really, that horror bag is something that they're not in. Or even if they want to go in that, I hate to say it because Shadow probably punched me in the face for it, but go into that Souls bag. I don't know if they will ever do it, but yeah, go into that Souls bag and see what Nintendo can do with it. Like a game that really, really like pushes you to that limit to complete. But yeah, that's me. Like I feel like once they put their hand in a little bit of everything and have some type of success and a name tied to it, I think that they're good.
Yeah, the thing is, and what also made Diddy Kong unique, kind of touching on that a little bit, was the fact that you had different vehicles, right? And so when you had the different vehicles, unlike Mario Kart, where anybody, if you hit the path right or if you take the right way, you can go through the shortcut. In Diddy Kong, some of those were relegated to only having that specific vehicle. If you had the airplane, you could dip through this part real quick. Or if you had a car. So like those are, I definitely think that's something that definitely needs to happen. And you're right, you can make that into a hardcore aspect of that. Another one that I really kind of want them to touch on, I feel like one thing that they've kind of stopped doing outside of golf is really like dedicating like a real sports thing, like as a game, right? So, like back in the day, we have 1080 snowboarding. We had Wave Race. They did the Mario Strikers, which it didn't hit the way that we really wanted it to. Right. But I really think they need to, and not even using Mario characters. I think that's like the more important thing. Yeah, just having your own characters for a game that people could enjoy. And if you really want to bring a character in, then let it be like take a shot at boxing. You know what I'm saying? Not arms, but I mean like Super Punch Out. You know what I'm saying? Like bring the little Max in, like allow you to use different characters. If you're talking about multiplayer, you can still do the whole arms thing with the the punching and everything. And I only imagine that the gyro is going to be even better in the new Switch controllers than they are in the Switch controllers now. Right. And things that you didn't use, like the IR sensor, tracking distance and all that other stuff. That's if you want to hold it to both players using the Switch controllers to punch, then they can track each other's IR sensors of how close they are, so you're not actually punching each other in the face. You know what I'm saying? Like, the stuff to that level. But I think you're right. I think shooters, like first person shooters, I really think that needs to be a thing. I think the dopest thing in the world, because when you think about the Switch, it was a culmination of Nintendo's history from the past. But one of the things that I really think they missed out on, and we even talked about this with the I kind of brought it up with the HD Rumble, is that they had shooters, and all you had to do is have like like, can you imagine pulling the trigger and you feeling like the shells pop out of the thing. But what would actually be crazy dope is if they made a super scope for the Switch 2.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
And that way you can, whether you're doing a light gun shooter or something like that, because we don't have any light gun shooters, that'd be bananas. You have two controllers. You attach one controller to the thing, to the, you know what I'm saying, and do the light gun shoot. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
So I definitely think something like that needs to happen, and I agree with you. At the end of the day, we need a 3D Donkey Kong. Like that, just
We do.
3D Donkey Kong needs to happen at this point. Everybody has had their chance. Everybody has had their shot since then.
Hmm.
Kid Icarus is, even had his shot in the 3D,
Yeah,
in the 3D realm. So
it's
you know,
crazy.
it's time to go back and give Donkey Kong that opportunity, to be able to do a 3D world. To be honest with you, if I was even more honest, I wouldn't even mind having a Donkey Kong 64 remake as long as you made that stuff like the collectathons
Yeah, I was about to say.
a
That
little less, yeah, a little less crazy. But I wouldn't even mind that because there's a lot of things that I like about that game,
Right.
and there's a lot of things that work really well with that game. You just have to, give it a little bit of quality of life in order to make it work. But
For sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
but on the real end, I would definitely like to see Donkey Kong, with the fur, like how they have him in Smash Bros. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
swinging through the trees and all that other stuff.
Right.
I'm still very much that Donkey Kong, to me, doesn't work well in an open world setting,
Nah.
but it works well as how Mario works, like Mario Odyssey.
The
You know what
linear
I'm saying?
open world. Yeah.
Yeah, linear open worlds. Like there's a big map, but you can't go outside of this map unless you go to another level.
Yeah. Don't have every level connected.
Yeah.
Don't do. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to have a hub world, that's perfectly fine. I think that works for Donkey Kong, just exactly like how they did it. Like that's how Donkey Kong has always been. Realistically,
Mhm.
is that Donkey Kong Island, and you go to different sections on his island, and they represent totally different areas.
Right.
So I think in that mindset, if you want to still use Donkey Kong Island as a hub, it still works. It can't work as an open world Zelda-esque Donkey Kong game. Like that
Right.
it just doesn't work like that. But yeah, I would love something like that. Absolutely.
I mean, and then even though I feel like a lot of people wouldn't like it. Uh, make like you said, boxing wise, to me, I feel like it's time to walk away from Punch Out. Is because unless you change it up of how it works, because in reality, I feel like we need to get away from like the arcade style boxing, and then not say
Yeah,
but
sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, like
Yeah.
more like the Fight Night esque.
yeah. Because
Yeah.
you can still have fun with it. It's just like that same setup of like behind Little Mac fighting this person, learning their patterns, and like it. Because even what was that Thunder Ray came out and it did nothing. Like,
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
was the closest thing you were gonna get to that type of game. But I think while it was something that people love from a nostalgic standpoint, that type of boxing game is just not gonna fly.
Right.
At this point. So you got to switch it up. And really, I always look towards Epo. I don't know how you pull that off. There's been Epo games.
Oh yeah.
3, but you make it flair like that. Because I've talked to different wrestling fans, because I still watch wrestling, and it was surprising to see how many of them did not like the WWF. I'm thinking, is it Superstars? Dang, I'm mad. I'm blanking on the name of the game, but it was the one that was over the top, like Rock jumping like 100 feet in the air, spinning around in circles,
yeah.
slamming you down. Like I like stuff like that. It was like fun arcadey type ordeal, but it was different from your typical wrestling game of trying to be a simulator. But in reality, I think Punch Out needs to change if that's going to be the case. If you're not going to make it your boxing game,
WWE All Stars.
There you go, All Stars. Yep. So if it's not going to be your game, Arms, I feel like it's still going to stay around. I'm curious to see how they change that up. Maybe they take that back to that. I don't know, but ultimately they need to get back into their bag in that level. But yeah, there's so many games and so many franchises they could bring back. Some make more sense than others.
Yeah.
But really, think for example, I was looking for a dogfighting flying game like for the longest. I still have not found one that I care to play. And I've gone back to play. I played Star Fox. What was it? 64. And then also I was playing Assault and Adventure because it's not as much dogfighting in Assault and Adventure, but still like they exist. But ultimately, it's like those games are not around.
Don't exist, yeah.
Yeah. So
Ace Combat is like
it's it's not there. But then even who said it earlier asking about stealth? Exodia. So that's in reality, stealth doesn't exist anymore at this point. Because ironically enough, somebody pointed out, because I was looking for a game to play, and somebody pointed out Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, and how that was kind of like the last of the stealth games, really, because it wasn't about finding some weird way to get around and sneak around and do whatever. Like you really had to like hide and figure out how to get up on the ceiling and crawl and then like reach down and grab somebody and like pull them up. So like it was a real stealth game. And even like the idea of if you heard me over here and I moved, my silhouette was still over there because that's the last place you heard me. Too many of these games, it was like I'm behind cover and I moved and you already know where I'm at. Like how do you know where I'm at? I moved.
Right.
Like
hey, it'd be funny. It's so funny that you mentioned that because there's so many games where you'll move and they'll turn and they'll be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? And you be hiding them behind the box, but you can see around the corner and they just standing there. You like, bro, come on, just move out of the way. And they do this, they be like,
right.
You're like
come on. I'm like, dude, there's no way you knew I was here. like it works my nerves. And even like for stealth games, I think Hitman tends to come up. But even then, like I don't know, like Hitman just one of those that just really don't do it for me either. But I mean Splinter Cell was that game, but if Nintendo takes a crack at it of like, okay, really stealth and finds like a way to keep you engaged with the stealth. I mean, I know a lot of them take themselves really serious. But I think it would be a dope genre to get into and see if they can like rejuvenate it in some kind of way.
Absolutely. I think even talking about lesser stuff, I may be the vocal minority on this. Actually, Joycey said this earlier. I feel like Zelda games need to go back to story. As much as I love Tears of the Kingdom and and I love Breath of the Wild and stuff like that, I'm usually there for the story of Zelda. I feel like they tell some of the best stories. And it's not that Tears of the Kingdom didn't tell a good story or anything like that, but moving the story forward with the gameplay, and as you move forward, the story moves forward. That's something I wish that I hope that Nintendo goes back to.
Are you in that voice acting crowd or no? I hear so many people like, I want voice acting, and then you got others like, nah, it wouldn't work. And like, because for me personally, like a lot of those games that don't have voice acting, like going through and read through all that dialogue, it kind of takes me out the game. But because I like hearing the actors give that emotion.
Yeah.
To where like if I'm reading like I'm like, nag, I'm still pressing this button. Like, go on, let's get this stuff over with.
So the positive to that is, to me, I would say it's the opposite for me. Like I get more engaged. Because part of me is like telling them, reading it in my head in their voices, and then something big happens, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, whoa, wait a minute, what just happened? So and if I hear it in voice acting, if there is something even the slightest bit important to me, a lot of times you can't pause those scenes. Like those scenes you just have to play out. And if I see something happening on my phone, I'm just like, oh, okay, hold
Yep.
on. Doop, doop, doop. Like I can kind of hear what's going on, but I'm not. The impact of the voice acting is not always as heavy as me reading something. But I do agree. I can understand both sides, because at the same time, there are a lot of times where I may think that the voice sounds like this, or the reaction may be this way, and you
Right.
only really get like the impactful stuff when you really kind of, when both of those are there, the visual and the sound as well.
Right.
You know, because one thing that does take out is, say you're playing a Zelda game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And something crazy happens where the character is like, no, you know, like they about to die, and you know the whole place is shaking. The whole place is shaking, and it's stuck on no until you hit the button. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. They just,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So, and you just be like, okay, now let me press the button. You know what I'm saying? So it can equally take you out too.
Right.
But
Now, does that get joined with how the characters in themselves are animated as well? Like, does that bother you at all, to where it's like the old school of the one animation of the mouth just flapping up and down, or just like, you know, not seeing them acted
but not
out, just more
actually
the
seeing them
skills.
talk. Yeah.
Storm.
Because that's, in a way, that's kind of thrown me off too, because it's like, all right, even if I have to read it,
Mhm.
you doing some type of movement and then seeing like the reactions when I get to the
Yeah.
dialogue, similar to like Persona in a way. Like,
Mhm.
even though Persona has some voice acting, it doesn't have all voice acting. But I don't know, like I want some action, some type of movement with
Mhm.
my characters. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from. But I've always been curious with that Zelda crowd, and like Zodia said, most people want Link stay silent. Everybody else, y'all can talk.
Yeah.
But Link stay silent.
Yep. It's funny that you say that, because I can see both of them. Like, I can see a character, but that's kind of the thing too about button pressing when characters are talking.
Right.
Because I've seen it one way where the character will move their mouth to the speed of the words that are being written down. And once it comes to an end, they stop talking.
Yeah.
But I've also seen it to a point where somebody's still like moving their mouths, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Even though the line has already been finished,
Right.
before they move into that next, you know, whatever animation it is. And that'll tend to throw me off a little bit too.
Okay.
I'll be like looking like, is they really saying the words that they, you know? Like, can I imagine they mouths actually saying these words?
Right.
Yeah. He said, I want Link to talk and talk a lot. That's one thing. That's one thing I am very, very certain I don't want Link to ever talk.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I want them to take that out of there. I want them. That was one thing I didn't like about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Actually, that's the biggest thing that I didn't like about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Right.
Every single Zelda game that I've played up into these two Zelda games, I was Link. Sandstorm.
Right.
Zelda was Link. And whenever they wrote down the names, and I know why they had to do it is because there was voice acting. But whenever you saw your name come across, that was you. They was talking directly to you.
Right.
Is the moment they said Link was the moment it was like, oh, I'm playing as somebody else. Like, this isn't really my adventure, even though, like, and I think that's also what made like those games magical, right? Like Ocarina of Time, you know, Majora's Mask. Like, when they called your name, you was like, I'm in this world. Like, even though this don't look nothing like me, I ain't even white. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got reddish hair. You know, definitely not walking around with no dress on. But like,
right.
You know, but that was you though. So I think very much so I would like Link to be quiet, and I definitely don't want him ever saying no words, and I think they need to take Link's name out of there.
I was about to say, like, I've always wondered with the fandom of Zelda, how do y'all feel with Link being the character, but the name of the game is Zelda?
I don't mind that.
And then the idea that this character doesn't talk, is not the same character every time you play it.
Mm-hmm.
And really Link is the face of the game because that's who
Right.
you play as.
Mm-hmm.
But what stops that from still being Zelda and you be able to customize your Link?
So, to my understanding, for every Zelda game that's out, the reason why it's called Zelda is because Zelda's the one actually telling the story.
Okay.
So every action that you do, all that other stuff, yeah, you're playing the game, but it's like she's narrating the story for somebody else.
Okay.
Here's the story of the Ocarina of Time. You know, he woke up, he was tossing and turning, he had dreams, blah, 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 blah. The reason why it's called The Legend of Zelda is because they've, you know, all this stuff happened long ago. Nobody ever remembers who Link is.
Okay.
And so it seems like she's telling like a legendary story of this is how our Hyrule became this Hyrule. These are the events that happened.
Right.
So as far as like it being the Legend of Link, I don't like that.
It sounds bad.
Yeah. It just doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
Right.
And because people, and for all those reasons that I just said, it doesn't make sense for Link to tell his own story. Like,
right.
You know, she's supposed to be the goddess of wisdom, right? So like, that's just another piece in it, is like, she knows all these stories from the beginning of time to how everything started all the way, you know, through all those pieces. So for her cause and case, I think that fits. Them switching the characters, to be honest with you, I hope they never do that either.
Okay.
It's nothing to do with sexism or anything like that. Yeah, I know Zelda got the whole Echoes of Wisdom stuff. That's cool. That's fine. If Zelda has her own story, that's cool. But Link should never be chosen as whether he wants to be a boy or a girl. That should never be a thing. I think, and the reason why I feel that way is mostly due to the fact that how the lore works is like, it's one of those history is supposed to repeat itself type of situation. Right. So when you have somebody being a girl, what are you going to do? Have a girl be Link and have a boy be...
Can't be.
I don't know what you would name him. You know what I'm saying?
Because these three characters are ingrained into each other, so it's not like you can swap them out for different people. I mean, different names, but they're just like, yeah, this is a Zelda, this is a Link, or this is a Link, this is Zelda, and this is Ganondorf. So
yeah,
okay,
yeah, I don't need any because they're already in themselves incarnations of previous versions, right? So you can't be like, oh, the incarnation's kind of messed up. It's a girl now. No, that's not how that works.
Right.
So I would prefer them, but also too, I think they kind of did a smart thing with Link in both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. They gave him long hair. And you know, some of the stuff gave him like the two ponytails on the side type of deal, but so like if you were a girl, you can kind of be like, you know, but at the end of the day, it's a boy. You know what I'm saying? So you know, that's the closest you can get with it, I think. Without going too far. Okay. Yeah,
I've always wondered with that, but yeah, I mean, as far as like the, you know, when it comes down to what the successor needs, honestly, I mean, Nintendo's been pretty good at giving us a new IP. What seems like every generation. Yeah. Now, whether it stays around or not, that's, you know, a different story. But nonetheless, I mean, they've done a pretty freaking good job at giving us something brand new every generation.
Which
But
makes
this
me
will be,
wonder what's it going to be this time around.
yeah, that one's gonna be interesting and kind of see where they go. Because honestly, I also too want to see the next step in arms. Like,
Mhm.
what do you do with it? Because to me, it was a bit of a disappointment that they kind of folded and gave in to the consumers by adding button
Yeah.
inputs.
Yeah.
And I was like, but that's not how it's meant to be played.
Mhm.
Like, and then even when people were using buttons, you start realizing like you still can't pull some of this crap off that you'd be able to
Mhm.
pull off by just, using the Joy-Cons. But I because I mean it's a good game. I mean, and like I said, people gave Splatoon 1 crap when it was on the Wii U, and then here we are. Like it's one of
Third
those
one
little
in.
things. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Mhm. I really do hope that they tackle the extreme sports again, not in the light of Switch Sports.
Mm-mm.
Um, I just don't think it hit the way it should. If you're once again, I think all of those games would have did well. Not well. I think they would have did better if they were all individual games.
Which
If
one?
you have all the things in Switch Sports, so if you had a dedicated bowling game,
Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay. Yeah.
I think that would have did a whole lot better. If you were going to do a street basketball game by itself, I think that would have did gangbusters. To be honest with you,
If they did it right, because that was the one knock I would give against Nintendo. It's almost like they kind of just flew in their sports games this generation. Like they were not up to par like they should have been. Like I don't know what happened, but they just kind of like, oh, here it is. This is what y'all asked for. I'm like, nah, y'all knew what we asked for. Like, give us a good game, because most of those had like RPG elements to them. They had story modes to them when Camelot was doing them. So what is this? Like that's wild.
That's another thing. That's so unfortunate that that company doesn't exist anymore, because that would have been that they should have handled the Mario Golf, joint.
Yep.
We would have been good.
Yeah. And the crazy part about it was there was I don't know if you ever played it, but Golf Stories. That game was amazing. Sequel trash. Like I don't it's almost like no one could get the sport stuff right. I don't know. I don't get it, but I just wish Nintendo would have had somebody.
They were like, let's just add all these other sports to here too.
Yeah.
That ain't it.
I don't know what in the world happened, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to hope that, I mean, Nintendo is a company that likes to build on the franchises that they have. Not often do they sit on the morals of games, except for sometimes. But I would love a Luigi's Mansion 4 and see where we take those kind of franchises and everything, which is something that I wouldn't be surprised they wouldn't do. If they move forward with Bayonetta, because we know she's going to be back at some point in time. There's just plenty of franchises that I think that can still have some light and do some original stuff to actually be pushed forward. So, Jay Big said this is the next from World of Arms Twin Towers. That'd be interesting.
It's crazy because like a lot of people really did love Twin Tails for reasons we won't state here, but Min Min got a lot of love. But I think those were like the only two that really got a lot of love, because the main two characters surely didn't.
Right, that's funny because Min Min is in Smash.
Yep.
Over the main two characters. So
yep. That's crazy. But I mean, it's just who you gravitate towards, and I mean, Min Min and Twin Tails were the ones.
So yeah, we say all that to say we're excited for what's next for Switch. Hoping that we get to see something soon. I know there's a lot of rumors on when we're gonna get the thing. Was it
late January, early February?
Yeah, that's what I'm really hoping. So, J Big said Twin Tail was the only reason why I played the demo.
And then the camera angle didn't help at all.
Right,
camera angle did not help. Like people like, whoa, okay,
right.
But people didn't care if they lost or not. It's just
I got that angle, baby.
I mean, but it was an interesting concept because no one had pulled anything off like that, and the fact that it still sold a couple million was pretty dope. So I mean, we'll see where it goes next. But honestly, I just need my 3D Donkey Kong. Let Retro do it. That way it doesn't get messed up. I mean, they should be done with Prom 4. Let them go ahead and finish up 3D Donkey Kong.
You know what I would like? I just thought about this. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I would think, you know what I would think it would be really dope is if you could take the Joy-Cons and hold them, in like in the upwards position and make a Star Fox game off of that. So like you actually fly in that boy. And you don't have to hold them all up in the air, do all that fun stuff. You can just keep them on your, on your lap and be,
like having like twin sticks, kind of like if you're doing a plane or not.
Yeah, just like you're doing a plane. So, you can't turn one, like if you did this motion, it would be like the equivalent of, maybe a spin or something like that. I don't know. But, like you gotta keep them both in motion. So that's part of the challenge is like, oh, we're in a dogfight. Like I'm trying to get away from you.
Okay.
And that way you can, if you want to go faster, you lean forward or go slower, or you can even use the buttons for the speed of going faster and going slower. The other button be your shooter, like you in a TIE fighter or something like that. But I think that because Nintendo likes to do quirky stuff like that, right? So
easy attachment cell too. Like just plop your Joy-Cons in here,
right?
Because I mean, if you turn them to where the side of the Joy-Con is facing you, you have the SLSR button. So yeah, you be able to do. Yeah. I mean, if these are as big as they say they are, then it would work. Now these tiny ones, they don't really work all that well. But if they're as big as they say they are, then yeah, it will work fine.
Yeah, I think that would be a cool idea. Or do something along the lines with the motion controls, with the controller, whether it's vehicles, whether it's a train, something vehicle related. I think that would be a sweet idea, and not just leaving it just to pause, thank you, and not just leaving it to just the whole arms situation, because I felt like that was really the only game that you were really doing the sticks with pause with the whole motion controls to the side and all that,
right. Yeah, I mean there was so much more they could have done, because honestly I wouldn't even put that 100% on the third-party developers. Like Nintendo did not chime in on their own technology either. They really didn't.
So yeah, we'll see. Crazy thing is, one thing before we get out of here, I forgot to pray in. So
I was wondering, I was like, well, maybe he switched it up.
No, absolutely not. If I ever never pray in, and this goes to the comment section too. If I never ever pray in, y'all make sure that I'm on my stuff and I pray in, because you know what? You know what ended up happening on this podcast? I got kicked off. You know why? Because I did not pray in. So y'all make sure y'all call me on my stuff. Before we get out of here, Jack, you want to throw out anything extra for us?
Yeah, man. So of course the album came out on the 6th. We're in the process of getting it over to Apple Music now. Also with that, getting the real version of the Mr. Morales song on there too. That worked my nerves. Like when I tell you, I didn't even have this distro for a month, dude, and it was headaches from jump. Like first headache I ran into, they were like, "Hey, your album cover is an issue because you can't put cassettes, tapes, or anything on your cover." I'm like, why is that a problem?
What?
So pulled the cassette off of it, and they still said it was an issue. So I just didn't.
Wow.
So then, mind you, this album was released like 2 years ago, so it was on streaming platforms already. So then the next issue came with the whole singles, when I was doing the singles thing. That became such a headache of like trying to get stuff approved from album art and all this else. I said, nope, we're doing the album. So then when it came around to the Mr. Morales thing, they were like, hey, there's a copyright issue. And it was from Sony. So when VG sent me his verse, he also sent me like a snippet he chopped up from Spider-Man, kind of like saying like, you know, one man has all this power, you know what I'm saying, but gotta be like, you know, the phrase in Spider-Man. And they said that, you know, Sony gave an issue with that, or Sony would give an issue that we need to see documentation that you have the rights to use this. I'm like, I've used something similar to this. I've never had to send documentation. So I'm like, you know what? Strip it out of there. So I hit VG up. I was like, dude, I had to pull it. Like, so now it's just like this dead space in between his verse and my verse. So we plan to put that back and then see if this new distro, which this was my very first distro service. I just left them because they don't have the service to pitch your music to other businesses to actually use it in commercials. But the distributor I had actually did that. So that was the only reason why I left. It wasn't that they did anything wrong. It was just like they didn't have that service. But I'm going back to them because they never gave me headaches with my releases. And so that's where we are with it. So the album came out, you know, great album. Like I said, thank you for your production on it. You know, having production from Katetsu, TJ, my two kids. So I'm gonna definitely show love to The Journey, and then We Don't Play. Like my kids help big on that one. And then, as most of you already know, I moved over to MSM, so there is no more Music Grounds. There's, you know, I'm over on MSM with TJ and the crew. So that was a decision that we have been talking about for a minute. Like we've been flirting with it. But then I did the podcast where we did a listening party for VG's album, and everything just felt right being on that podcast. And I hit him up probably like the next day. It was like, I think I might want to, like, so he was like, all you gotta do is let me know, and you know, we'll take it to the team for a vote. And then within like 2 minutes, it was like,
that's what's up.
Like, and that was the dope part. Like, oh, you know, we gotta do a team vote, and it was like, oh, they're good. Like, like within 2 minutes, and I was like, that's dope, and you know, I really appreciate it. And you know, TJ jumped on the website and everything quick to add me to everything. So it's been pretty dope to, you know, to be there already and just already be gearing up for the next album, and being able to work with them and partner with them. But other than that, man, you know, continuing to drop videos on the channel for anything new that I find interesting coming up. And one thing I am entertaining, and I'll talk about it now, but you know, we'll go more in depth with it a little bit later on. I've been kind of playing with the idea of finally going live with my own channel. Still being on the Winging It podcast, like that's not the way, but really trying to find one, the right day to do it, and then like two, how I want to do it differently. You know, whether I want it to be a podcast or if I want it to just be like that, like a one-on-one show of like bringing different people on and kind of having those situations. But I mean, I kind of got it broken down of how I want to do it differently. But just really trying to figure out one, you know, if there's something I want to continue to do or something that I can do on a regular schedule basis. So I don't want to just jump into it. You know, I just definitely want to say, okay, let me rebrand the Gaming Grounds channel, and possibly do this live thing. You know what I mean? So it's in the works. I'm writing down all my ideas, jotting everything down, and trying to see how I really want to approach it. And I think the biggest inspiration has been you guys, like being on y'all channel, seeing how y'all been doing all of this, and really how it gives you that outreach. So like see different people, and I met so many people in the chat that come over and support the music and come over and support the channel when I do post videos. And you realize like, okay, all of this wouldn't have been possible if I didn't connect to Jay and Jay didn't connect me to y'all. And it's just all the different connections here and there. So just really seeing how that can be helpful and reaching out and finding other content creators to kind of bring on to this thing that we enjoy and have fun with. So yeah, man, that's it.
Wow. Much appreciated.
Sure.
So yeah, if y'all don't know, now y'all know. Make sure y'all go check out Jack's album. Please. We would all love for you to hear the work that he's done and he's did with the features and everything like that. So as y'all know, every Saturday is the Sandstorm Stormcast, which is at 7:00. And then Sunday is our Win It podcast, which is at 7 o'clock. Wow, can't talk today. And the Juice is Loose podcast will definitely be on Monday at 7 o'clock. And I guarantee you we'll be talking about the Game Awards again, because on Thursday we will be streaming the Game Awards. And you can definitely check it out from the Winging It podcast. Chances are we'll probably be streaming it too, but we're all going to be in the same group. So it doesn't matter whose channel you watch it from, we're all still going to be there. Right. I will make this announcement now. Make sure that you are here coming the beginning of the year. Pause. That we are going to actually be pushing forward all three of our channels: the Stormcast, the Sandstorm Show, Vitoverse, and Nunami, Nota Kayui's channel. There's going to be some slight changes, but some cool changes, some very welcoming changes. Because since we know that not everybody goes over to the Vitoverse and Nunami, there will actually be times on the Stormcast where we will actually be hosting some of those channels on this channel. So even though it'll be a Stormcast, we will actually be doing a Vitoverse during that day. Or if there's an anime Nunami show going on, as a Stormcast, we will be doing Nunami anime and talking a lot about anime.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah. We definitely we want our subscribers to definitely like get an idea of the other channels. And sometimes it's easier to go to people instead of expecting people to come to you. So yeah. So other than that, pray out. Hey, do you want to pray? No? Okay.
Nope, I'm straight. You got it.
Okay, Wild Hair, you want to pray?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be here together to talk about gaming in a safe space that you have provided for us. We really appreciate all that you have done for us and everything that you just set up for us as far as video games and the things that we love. We thank you for watching over our families. Thank you for just everything that you do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Shout outs to my moderators, all my moderators in the building. Jay Biggs, Exodia, Dark Void, Brand Smith, Squared. Really appreciate all of y'all coming through and holding us down. Trinell, I see you. Thank you, Joycey, RJ, for coming through. Samo, we'll see you. We'll see you on Monday, man. Yeah, just thank everybody. Thank you, Jack, for coming through.
Hey, no problem, man.
All right, and we'll see you guys later. You got to do that part. You got to do that. There you go. Peace.
Peace.